Yes, but
some of the.
yeah.
I'm gonna open the December 17th, 2025 Wolcott Select Board meeting. Do we have any adjustments to the agenda? Great, hearing none. Approval of the minutes of December 3rd, 2025. I'll take a motion in a second.
I'll motion to approve.
I'll second.
Do you have any further discussion on the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? So carried. Any comments from the community? Are we talking to, we need to talk up? Richard?
There, I'm here.
Okay.
I had one comment from a community member via the phone, if you want me to bring it up here.
Sure.
Bill Cotton called and he wanted to voice his accolades, and closely as he does, at the town warnings between 2025. And he noted that the select board budget has increased on average of 4% per year. This obviously excludes the school budget, and he said he finds this I'm paraphrasing, but he finds this remarkable, and he noted all that the town has accomplished over the past 10 years. I can't believe that we've done that on a 4% annually.
Thank you for that. We'll have correspondence, which is, Belinda has a question because it's not quite clear. I know we have a lot of discussion and back and forth concerning, purchasing the 550. So we received the check from Tin Diesel, $3,480. And she wants to know where this should go. Back into the highway budget as reimbursement against the repairs of the old truck? Or should it go into the capital account to pay the loan? And I couldn't remember really bringing that up. And I said to bring it to the board. So we need something in the minutes that, for her guidance.
I don't know that we discussed it. It's not written in the
No.
minutes.
No, she read the minutes.
And it's not in the video you
She
should
called.
I would say that it should go back into highway funds. It should reimburse the repairs and maintenance.
The rest of the board agree?
I'll second that.
Okay.
To the highway fund, correct?
Back to repairs and maintenance. Yeah.
And also the $9,700 for the plow, is that amount coming from the capital account or the equipment account?
I think we decided the capital. I think when we voted on,
It was 10,000 actually, you guys voted on,
yeah,
up to 10.
I think that the. I think it was supposed to come out of capital.
Board agree? So if you just put that in the minutes and then she'll know how to transact the finances. January legislative breakfast kickoff annual spring series begins January 5th, Green Mountain Tech, 8 to 9:30. Be sure to register prior to the event. That's through the Lamoille Economic Development Corporation and the Lamoille Chamber of Commerce. If you're interested. Georgina Little sent a little note in anticipation of the upcoming launch of the Community House Structure Program CHIP. There will be a series of webinars available to help local leaders understand how financing works and supports community investment. There are remote meetings in January, 8, 13, 15. Actually, I had got, previously I signed up to go to them, but if anyone's interested. And the Lamoille County Sheriff's Department November report and Northeast Kingdom. Communication District sent their annual report. They've built out 510 miles, 40 towns, 10,026 addresses. Well, I'll pass this on around, everybody to take a look at it.
When there was a motion and a second, but we didn't vote for the Tim Diesel purchase.
For the what?
The Tim Diesel that.
No, we didn't make a motion, we just all agreed.
Oh, okay.
We didn't make a motion on either one of them. The board just clarified through agreement. When you're caught up, we'll move on to the kennels and Wolcott.
So we've been, as you know, we've been looking for alternatives to the Lamoille County kennels. When I went to the meeting last Thursday with all the town admins, I found out that Morristown had a couple of animals there and they somehow didn't get a propane refill. So the kennels were pretty much unheated for several days. And Brent said he had to replace, that was his term, several animals. And we all, but actually he had to just rehome them. He had to find another place for several animals. So it's obviously it's a pit and we're not going to be using it again. And so the area, the county, there's been a countywide search that has been hosted by Hyde Park to find location for the kennels. We've discussed this. I have not heard any more progress in that area, and I know that Hyde Park is having many difficulties. So we've approached Nikki. To possibly consider the board, me and several other people. We presented this to.
I just been with, sorry, Wolcott people or, yeah, okay.
Well, we have presented it to Hyde Park,
Yeah.
and we've heard nothing.
Yeah.
Nikki's heard nothing.
And currently, I think I, for the time being, would like to just move forward with Wolcott and not open it up to other towns until maybe a later time.
So, Dawn can bring up, if you can, just wanted to show you what we're looking at. The area that Nikki is, so that first one, you can bring it up, yeah.
Oh, shit. Oh, sorry.
You're being recorded, Richard.
So that's the LaRich Farm, and the box in, I'll let Nikki
Okay.
explain it.
So Route 15, North Wolcott Road, it's the red barn. And it's this front area here is what would become the dog kennel. I would still be reserving the rest of the barn for storage. And that grassed in area in the back would be fenced in as an outdoor dog run. And we advance to some of the interior pictures.
A little tricky.
So it's on the North Wolcott Road, is it that attached to the barn, the big barn?
Because technically the brown barn is bigger. It would be in the red barn.
Yeah, right. I think I know what you mean.
The one on the left as you pull up the road.
So, it would definitely need some work, but it does have windows for natural lighting. And these were originally stalls, so we can fence them in to turn them into kennels, and then we have like a space,
Oh, sorry.
that's okay. A space where those two cars are currently being stored. We can make almost like an indoor dog run area. Am I missing anything, Michelle?
Yeah, and technically, we were with our $5,000 a year, reserving 2-3 spaces, basically. You get 2 spaces for animals that are there. And they were also then charging us $50 a day, whether it's been 3 hours or 24, you were getting charged $50 a day per animal, for as long as the animals were there. $25 a day, they would, if they felt like it, charge us for unclaimed animals that the town would pay. But lately, they had been charging us $50. So this would be, I would, if we move forward with this, and if Nikki agrees, so that the LaRich Farm could recoup some of the money that they are putting into this, I would propose moving forward with $5,000 a year, but that's it. We don't then pay the extra $3,000 that we tend to pay for these unclaimed animals. We could recoup that money by charging $50 a day for claimed animals, parts of that money. But if we have unclaimed animals, meaning animals that are not, that are homeless, basically, we would not have to pay the extra for those animals. And that $5,000, Nikki thinks that if I propose that if we give Nikki a contract for 5 to 7 years, then it would guarantee that she would recoup some of the money that she's putting into the kennels to set them up for us. So if we had a 5 to 7 year contract that we guaranteed we would pay $5,000 a year, because I can tell you what they were looking at as a combined town, it was going to be a little bit more than that, I think, because they were talking about building their own facility. And to me, it would have been subpar, and we would have had to travel to the Hyde Park.
How are you gonna heat it?
There's already propane tanks behind the red barn to heat the office, so I would just have to run another line to a heater.
And there's water at one end. Water.
I'm back. Oh, crap.
Are you there? Are we- Can you hear us, Richard?
I've got a computer problem here. Just ignore it. Come on.
There's the drawing.
That's just a rough
Oh.
outline, so you get an idea of the square footage of the space.
Um,
Uh,
So can you say that again? So we're gonna charge people whose dogs are picked up and are boarded $50 a day? Is that what you
Yeah,
said?
we can
No, what
say-
did you mean by, you said something about $50 a
I
day.
think to recoup some of our losses, much like this, the situation that's currently exists with the other kennel, they charge us between $25 and $50 a day for unclaimed animals. They will charge us $50 a day for claimed animals, but we have to then charge the recipient. We make them pay the money before they can get their dog out. I think that we would follow along the same line with this agreement so that we could recover maybe $300 or $400 a year toward this, but ultimately, this is cheaper in the long run than our other options.
We're getting unclaimed animals for free, essentially.
Yes, and
we're
that's
getting-
costing us about almost 28 to 3,000 a year, depends on the year, but it's costing us a lot of money.
Yeah, and the claimed animals is where we would build back if we impose the fee.
Yes, we
We
could.
wouldn't be paying you the fee, we're just a flat fee.
Yes.
How long do you think it would take to renovate the space?
I'm thinking a few months.
Because we would need to, we have an agreement with Hyde Park, and I think we have to give, what, 90 days
Yes,
written notice before we can get out of it?
And the contract renews in June.
June.
But we can get out of it. I mean, if we send them a letter saying that we're leaving as of this date, we have to give them.
Yeah. Because I also do need a little time to notify the woman whose car I'm storing that, yep, she can no longer store with me.
I was envisioning this going through as of July 1st or whatever. So
Uh-huh.
once the other contract expired, it gives Nikki time to make sure all the insurances are in place and things like that. I mean, but if we feel like it can go earlier, I was gonna
I
notify.
was just asking what your intentions were. And do you have to get any state licenses?
I think there's a permit I think we sent you some information a long time ago about possible permits or licensing. When we started this conversation back in July, didn't we? Or when did you come on?
Yeah, I sent it to you because you had asked for information a long time ago.
I think that there will be a local conditional use that'll have to go before the DRB. I don't know about state.
Okay. Local conditional use?
I'm almost certain, I can look up. the
Yeah, it's a
regs.
change of use.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's a change of use in a business. It's not a big deal, but
yeah.
it's a formality type of thing, but it's in our zoning. So I would check that lease to make sure that it's not like if it's just renewed or whatever, I still would send them a notice and let them know that we aren't gonna renew it on July 1st
Okay.
within the time frame.
I will within the time frame. I just want to make sure that Nikki can get all of
I
the,
mean, if we agree.
yes.
I just don't want to be stuck with that lease
No,
and then wanting to move.
3 months out, so I figured we would do it in March.
Anyone else have any questions? What do you put down for dogs? It looks like it's cement. You put, do they walk on cement or?
They can, and I was going to, use a waterproof paint on it just to make it.
Oh, no, I meant you don't put straw down or anything? They just,
Okay.
they just walk on cement?
I don't.
They sleep on
Too
cement?
many kennels. Well, you put a bed, or usually it's a cot, so that they're up off the floor, but yeah, I don't think like,
I don't
you
know.
put bedding like you would.
I've never been in there, but it looked cold.
Loyal that Jeff used to run, the kennel there, it was just concrete, like she said, just a cot, small cot for him to get up off the floor. Yeah, and he'd just take a hose every morning.
And yeah, you put down, blankets on the cot or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
I've seen some that have stall mats and things, rubberized mats or whatever.
I mean, I do have stall mats, so they're steel reinforced, so they're heavy to move around, so I'm not sure I want it. But, if that is something that's desirable.
No, I'm just asking, cause
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm learning this too.
I think Mike was gonna try to go, you were gonna contact Passion for Paws.
Yeah.
And a couple of other kennels just to figure out.
See what their layout
Yeah.
is, so I can have some ideas of how to, build up.
So I think what we brought it to you today to see if you're interested and if we can move forward. It's a lot of work to put into it if we're not interested in moving forward with this, but. And again, to cover Nikki's investment, I would like to see that we do at least a 5-year contract that we sign.
I'm interested in it. I think that it's a fantastic. I think it's cheaper and I love the fact that it's local.
Right.
Yeah, somebody hasn't got to go all the way to Hyde Park and then find out, gee, they're not open. Right.
And I know that I just know Nikki's personality, that it will be managed and run and the animals will be cared for differently.
Well, yes, I know that she was an animal lover. I was confident in that area.
This makes me a bad select board member to ask this. But are you sure that you want to lock into a rate like that for a time frame like that until you have a better idea of your operating costs?
I think so. I think I can. I think Lamoille Kennels has probably been way overcharging. I can't imagine operating costs needing to be that high.
Okay. I don't feel bad for asking that. I just didn't want to see you 2 years into it, but what did I do?
Or even a 1% increase of, each year or something like that, I don't know. Just think about it.
Well, I will, but like I said, I really can't.
Right.
I mean, we already have horses, and so knowing how much they cost, I can't imagine the cost for dogs being much higher.
Yeah, because really it's not like there are always 3 or 5 dogs in there.
Yeah, exactly.
We try after 10 days to foster them out. We do our best to get them fostered out and everything. Because by law, by our ordinance, we have to kind of figure out what to do with them after 10 days.
Do we have any average on how many we board a year?
I'm sorry.
That's fine.
But I can tell you that we're already at, I think, 1,500, and we're only 6 months in of the extra.
So that would be 1,500, the daily costs for, the
Yeah.
dogs at Lamoille Kennels. And is it 25 or 50 per day?
It's 25 for unclaimed.
Okay.
They charge us that. They have the ability to charge more, and then 50 for unclaimed. So we would have gotten some of the money back. Okay, but they're usually only in there a day or two. For the claimed animals. Which is multiplying.
I'm very much in favor of moving forward. Doesn't seem like this consortium of towns is, doing much.
I think I'd like to move forward, but like
Michael said, maybe try it 2 years. If the 5,000, if it seems like it's gonna be more, then just come back. We can,
Would it be possible for us as a board to commit to 5 years and say that we can reopen the,
that's what I mean.
negotiations? Because you need the 5 year commitment in order to make that. But I do think that we should leave it, Kurt's right, we should open it so that we can rediscuss this because again, I would hate to see you regret that. One last question too, you thinking that it would be an exclusive use of ours, or are you thinking you may try and eventually open that up? Is that something in the contract?
It could be exclusively the use of the town, possibly to open up to other towns in the future, but at least to start with, I'd like to just work with Wolcott and then see how that goes.
And maybe justice for dog.
Yes, and Justice for Dogs. And the point of partnering then too is that then they could assist us in fostering of the dogs, so.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm all for it. Need a motion?
I think it might be a good idea. It will give her confidence in moving forward.
I will happily make a motion for review in your panel ideas.
Okay.
In a second,
I'll second.
or questions or? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
It's nice to appreciate it.
Did you hear you, Richard?
You're welcome. Been having trouble with my computer.
Never gonna believe this, but we're on time. I know, but you're still on time. Usually we're 45 minutes behind by.
Okay, this is a big one. Select board budget. I envision that this will be a budget, kind of fill in, go over it, fill in any blanks. Try to figure out what the tax rates might be, and then at our next meeting, depending on what the tax rate will be, maybe some cutting back. If it's too absorbent. Right. There is one thing in here, Michelle, that will need to be added. Because starting in probably, I'm guessing, January of 27. And when is this? We're in 26 now.
Yeah, the budget's going.
Oh, yes, but it'll be next January. We will need to start paying wastewater fees.
Or did that be added?
It will be a new line item.
It's the old section then.
I would think so.
Is there multiple tweet? Okay.
So I have a draft amount tonight.
I'm gonna just add the town building maintenance. Or what?
So there's a fee for the municipal buildings. And I can tell you what we're waiting for, waiting on MSI to decide how many gallons they want to use, and they might want an additional 1,500 to 2,000, which will lower the fees, but I don't have anything, right now. I will by the next meeting.
Are you gonna be giving me your slip, your sheet of paper, or should I?
No, it's gonna be, so for the municipal buildings for half a year will be estimated $4,975.50.
4,975
50,
And you said that was half year or full year?
half,
for 6 months.
And then the town will be holding on to reserve capacity. So there's extra capacity in the system. If the town wants to expand anything, example might be if we want a bathroom or water on a rail trail, you know. But some of that extra capacity also could be given to somebody else too. But anyway, there's extra capacity sitting there. That someone has to pay for. And it will, over the years, go down, but in the beginning, it'll be $12,050 for half a year. And as more people might want it or increase their usage, I can go down.
It's 49.75.50 for 6 months for municipal building, and then $12,012.50 for 6 months for the reserve capacity, which is to expand connections. Because we're not anticipating this to be up and running until September.
Well, I would anticipate next January.
Okay, next January.
So it's only, I only gave you half a year.
Okay. Well, that's right, you said January 27th, sorry. That's it.
That's an estimate today. Hey, pretty boy.
Now we're at 17,000.
Why are you pretty? Chocolate for cats.
You don't for cookies. You don't eat cookies either.
So I like to go down it line by line. I know it'll take its grueling, but that's what we have to do.
We brought the good food.
So we did, athletic association want to be brought up, back up to their annual amount that they normally request for 2,000. The cemetery is staying the same. Mowing.
Animal may then drop down. So the boarding could stay the same, but the unclaimed boarding costs, assuming this begins, it could go away to 1,500. Which is still low, mind you, because we exceed that every year.
I don't understand how, so, all right, the unclaimed animal boarding costs. So why is it going away though?
Because Nikki would not charge us anything extra over the 5,000.
But what about claimed animals?
She wouldn't charge us for any additional animals. We would just charge the claimed, the guardians of the animals who come and claim theirs. We could still charge them.
Money.
That's in our ordinance that says that we can charge.
Yeah, I know, but how is she making any money?
Well, she didn't even want the contract initially, and I said, we have to guarantee, we have to protect you in some way that you're not gonna just make all these improvements and then we're gonna pull out. So I suggested the 5-year contract just to, and she was like, I don't even think that way. I don't care. But I said, no, we have to protect her. So, I think we could.
Because she's buying food
But they're not, it's not that she's gonna have dogs there all the time. Think about that. She may have a dog there, 3 dogs there a month, max. Like for a couple of, you know what I mean?
And
And again, I like Michael's idea that we can revisit, so we have a guarantee that we will contract with her 5,000, but that can be revisited as we. Every year, we can revisit the contract.
Yeah, I mean, to Kurt's point, I don't, I think that we need to do that.
I mean, the cost of dog food,
right,
it keeps going up. Last year was the worst, but still at 500 a year per dog. And she keeps 3. She's still gonna make money.
And heat, though, she's got the heat,
Right.
but I just want her to be able to recoup the costs that she's putting into it initially.
Yeah.
That was my main goal. And then once she recoups those after a couple of years, then she will be able to start earning money.
It's not that big of an area too, and if it was insulated,
Yeah, she just has to do all those improvements, so she won't be making money for the first couple.
so are you suggesting we take it out or not?
I think we should, and, it's tough, let's see what she finds out about permitting, and then we can drop this out
All
in
right, we
January.
can draw a little line there and we'll see if we can, come back, on the 7th with a definitive amount. All right, Belinda's filled in the debt.
fire truck, isn't this the last year?
It is. So Belinda is anticipating more than one school vote.
There's the school vote, and then, yes, she is anticipating more than one school vote. And then we have the 2026 elections.
In town meeting.
It dropped this year because
Yeah, she didn't have the
yeah,
general
we didn't have a
election.
national election. Emergency, Michael, you had ideas about emergency management.
You did, yeah. So the request had the town emergency disaster fund funded at $2,000. Had a one-time purchase for the Starlink equipment, monthly service purchase plus 825 for emergency supplies. The bottom line of my suggestion was to take the 228 for the equipment purchase, the 825 for the supplies, and deduct that from the disaster fund. So rather than give him the 5,203 that he's requesting, it ends up being funded to 3,150. Just
What
because
disaster funds?
he's asking for a disaster fund this year.
Oh,
The one in yellow, it's town emergency / disaster fund, the last line item under emergency management.
And
so
it just,
what are we gonna do with this disaster fund?
He wants to purchase equipment, and then there was the discussion that we could write for grants to get that, but he wants to start like setting money aside, I don't know.
You can't set money aside unless the voters let you. You cannot create any type of savings account. It would have to be on the warning. But he wants to do that.
That was my understanding when he presented it. I don't know if I misunderstood.
Well, it sounds like by the name of it, and I'm not saying that. I'm not blaming you, that's the rules. You're supposed to raise taxes, spend the taxes, you're not supposed to spend more than the taxes, and you're not supposed to really save, but people do anyway.
Well, yeah, here's his budget if you want to look at it again. What he was,
It's, you can just read it. It's okay. Yeah, that's what he wants. He wants it to be set up like the,
community trust kind of thing, or.
no, like the, equipment fund and the capital fund.
Oh,
And they were both voted approved. And there's for a specific, can only be used as you want it for it. If they use that money for anything else, you have to ask the voters. That's how that works.
Sounds like it would be worth having an item on the warning on it, see if people want to have it on there.
But what does he want to buy out of that? Should we asking some more?
that wasn't clear because he also has line items on there for cots and things.
Yeah, like the 825 was what covered the cots and the emergency blankets. That's where the 825 came from.
Maybe, I'm just going based off of memory. I don't know if anyone else remembers this. Maybe it's to help to help people. Oh, no.
Well. I don't think probably it's taxpayers' dollars to do that. People have to do it individually.
That's where the Red Cross comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not to help. Now, we did talk about a disaster fund. The roads got ruined, how we were gonna deal with that when FEMA goes on, stops. But I don't think that's what he had in
I
mind.
mean, 2,000 a year is.
No.
Yeah. The only notes I had when I was taking it was new requested fund account to be added to each year. That's what those were my notes.
That was my memory of the presentation, was that he wanted to have a pot of money that he could dip into in case of emergency. I wonder though if the capital fund is not that. Should the town ever be in a position where you have a prolonged declared disaster?
Well, we need to have a policy, not to change the subject, on the use of the capital funds. I think. But, certain amount. At some point, a cap. So that we don't keep. Going into it for piddling stuff. Well, you have on your notes here, approved by voters.
Okay,
So I would take that out of our budget.
okay.
I think we need to take that out of our budget. And have a further conversation with him on what his intentions are. And if the board so approves, it would be a warrant article.
That then drops us down to 3203. Does that what you?
But then, Michael, what did you want to do?
I wanted to pull the emergency supplies and the one-time equipment purchase out of that disaster fund. So instead of funding the disaster fund at the solid 2,000, it would have been at the 2,000 less the 825, 228, it would figure it out to about $1,000. Knowing that we can't do that without voter approval, I would say that we would need to leave it as it is now. I think we all supported We all supported him in the fire department with one more of those mobile Starlink things for communication purposes. You know, I am not an emergency manager, so it's outside of my purview to see a use for cots or wool blankets.
It seems like we could get a grant for those,
Yeah,
really.
I don't,
Somehow.
yeah, I think there are grants for small, like up to $3,000 and things like that, that I've been seeing in my search.
Yeah, I think we need to
I have it on the list.
look and try to get grants for supplies for it, rather than is my feeling.
Well, also though, we need a place to store those, like a container, so the grant might be then actually to help purchase a container as well. I don't know if like most of these grants are 1,500 or 3,000 that I've seen for emergency management. Rescue supplies and things.
Comments from the rest of the board on this?
I can see taking out the supplies, and looking for grants.
what about the text my gov landline?
Yes, and how does that work with this Vermont alert statewide safety notification?
Well,
Are they different?
yes.
All right.
So the Vermont alert, you still have, individuals still have to sign up for it. And then it's only basically used for emergencies, not like we use Text My Gov that Belinda, that the town clerk pays for notifications, for dog licenses is due, and any other thing that we can think of. That's not what Vermont Alerts is to be used for. It's only used for, you know, weather alerts and
Road closures and water and wastewater.
Yeah, like-
Stuff.
yeah, and I've never even seen it used for road closures, normal road closures, just for emergency. So it's free to register for an account that one of us could maintain. And I've already registered for it. I've had it set up for a couple of, like, maybe 4 or 5 months. I don't get any alerts, but I think received 2 alerts for weather. So they're totally separate things.
Okay, yeah, that's what I wanted to know.
This is a free service and it doesn't hurt to be part of that. But Text My Gov, as far as our other alert system that we already have set up, it operates off of the cell service, the landline. My only problem or question with the landline is that landlines are possibly going away. Unless people are going to end up paying more for them. So once Fidium gets out there and even Consolidated, I don't know how they're going to deal with the landlines where Fidium's not going to service. I think they'll still be in place. But to get people's phone numbers, when I first started, we had something similar to Text My Gov online on our website saying, hey, sign up with emails. We had 6 emails on there and 2 were repeats or something like it. We had nothing. Nobody is signing up. We can do a more concerted effort to get people's landline numbers. It was not clear to me that Text My Gov was going to give us landline numbers similar to what we had received as far as a database of cell phone numbers. So again, it's a concerted effort on our part to get people to sign up. But if you have a landline, I don't know that you're going to go online to sign up with your landline number. I'm just thinking about our demographics here. So we would have to be at every event asking people for their phone numbers. People get very suspicious.
And it seemed like he was interested in the ones right around here with flooding and stuff, but then if your power goes out, your line doesn't work.
Well, if you have a plug-in,
for now.
But I don't know, when they came and they changed my box and took it away.
Yeah, because now you have voiceover, don't you? No? You don't have phone?
Yeah, I have a landline.
Yeah.
But they took my plug in now.
You have to then pay for the, oh, I don't know that.
So you don't have a phone that plugs into the wall?
Yeah, it does plugs in the wall, but you used to be able to plug in outside. One of the old ones. Are you talking about the old ones? Yeah. It doesn't work anymore. I have them. I have two of them.
Do they dial or they push tone?
I think it's push. I don't know. Doesn't, I'm not gonna waste your time.
Your phone
Anyway,
right here.
it doesn't matter. We can move on.
It's an
We can
analog,
move on.
she has analog phones, that's what we have.
So also in emergency management, we have the emergency management line item at $500. We also have the stipend at $550. And in the presentation, I don't see where the original 500 was supposed to go.
Because
It's
it's
500s for the
generator.
generator
Oh, yep,
maintenance.
I see the note again.
And Ryan didn't have that in.
Yep.
He wasn't, yeah.
I see the note now. I didn't see it before. So if we only fund the monthly mobile service for the Starlink, which I don't know that that number is accurate because I assumed that we would go with the standby route, which I didn't think they were charging anymore. Is that true? We would,
It changes monthly.
if we only fund the monthly service, the equipment purchase,
Emergency management, the generator.
the generator and the stipend, where does that leave us?
So you're wanting to get rid of the emergency supplies.
That's grant.
Yeah, we were wanting to
We're
grant that.
discussing a
Yeah.
grant.
Let me just, so I can put them back. And text my WP.
Yep.
This is at 1878. And in 24, it was 1250, which we dropped. I don't know why we dropped last year, but.
Because there usually are two people, there would be. And there wasn't a assistant. And we divide it in half.
Oh, we dropped the generator, emergency management last year by 500.
Yeah, there was, we didn't have all this other stuff, and so in case we had a thought, we upped it a little in case, something broke or we needed something else. There's a management. Okay, so this is just a draft, we can move on. You all set? Comments from anyone else, we'll move on. Forest fire warden salary.
Wait, before we move
Oh.
on, you wanted me to keep those, the 825 and 500 removed for now, but that would be fine, correct? So that we keep the total at 1878. Okay.
Fire warden salary. 950, what does getting assistant mean? Does it change the price?
He just said that he wants to get an assistant and he did not up the price, so I noted that, but he did not up the price.
Okay. Forest committee. Well, this is the second year in a row that I've suggested we do have a website developer. And they are part of the town, and they should be using ours.
They are, and, Gordon and Bradley and I are meeting sometime in early January to talk about how to include all of the forest events and how to include, like, figure out how they really want to start using the website. So,
So does that mean we need to pay Bradley more?
He did just charge us for plugins on something, didn't he? Can I just see an order for that?
yeah, but that's just, that you'll see if you go back into the IT budget, he had included those.
I see.
I don't know, Bradley doesn't ever really charge us a lot, but I don't know how much we're spending, like, we have to discuss how much they're looking at utilizing him.
Are you meeting before January 7th?
I could try.
Oh.
Yeah.
Just to have an idea. I just don't want a separate website development. It's part of the town.
Well, they had 1,000 last year. And they're dropping down, why do I have hand tools saying?
Yeah.
I don't think, I swear I told them no last year. I took it out, said that we needed to.
Have the book right here.
You can move on while I look.
I had thoughts on mowing. Asking for 4,000. Later in the budget, it's noted that our mowing contract for all of the other town properties is up. And at one point, we had all discussed trying to go over what we own for properties and what we want for mowing. I would say that we should pull at least 3,000 out of the forest committee's mowing budget. Leave them $1,000 to brush hog or whatever it is that they need to do, because I know we talked about fields and things. So that would bring that 4,000 down to 1,000. And then the only other comment I had was the site infrastructure. He's looking for $5,000 for a whole bunch of different things. And I really think that that should be grant funded or crowdsourced somehow. I don't know that we should have
For what?
the site infrastructure where he wants signage, gates, kiosks, consultation for planning trails.
You think it should be what?
Crowdsourced, fundraised, grant was the big one, grant funded.
Well, some of it, so first of all, no, last year we did not give him money. We gave him $1,000 for the grand opening, speakers, public events. And we gave him $1,000 for site development. That's all we gave him last year.
Yeah, I think I'm sorry, I think I added line items and this didn't get carried over. So that 1,000 there for website is not there and it should be down for site infrastructure. There.
Well, the forest is towns and I agree. I think that it should all be included in one mowing bid that the town oversees and that they should tell us what they think they need. That they're not a special entity.
As well as the athletic fields. I think that's what we talked about. Going the athletic fields, parts of here. And then all of the other utilities, at least this athletic field, not the one over by the house, and then the forest.
Right, we need to brush hog the transfer station. I know they like to brush hog that field late in the fall after all the nesting birds and everything are gone, or the turtles.
At the transfer,
No, at the forest.
the brush hog, the forest one time yearly.
Late, I know, late.
Yeah, probably in late August.
Even later, I don't know when the turtles move.
It won't start going in until it gets cold. Same
Yeah,
with
Dave
frogs.
Holden did it last year, so we could check with him. I think I don't, my personal feeling is that, putting it all together, we kind of have more. And it's like one bid and it's,
We might get a better price on it all.
yeah, a better price and we're controlling it.
I don't mean to get in the weeds here, but should we consider at some point trying to roll cemeteries into that as well? Have one town-wide mowing contract?
You could. The cemeteries are mowed twice, every other week, pretty much.
So we're looking at mowing the cemetery, the office.
Well, it's worth having a discussion. I think we need to find out if their mowing bid has to go out to contract. They usually do 3 years.
Yeah, the reason I ask now is because I think the mowing contract just went out last year. So if we are interested in trying to get one town-wide contract, the one we put out this year, we should make sure that they both dead at the same time. So that we could advertise for a central mowing bid in 2 years.
So Belinda would know that. Or Krista Peck. But I don't think we have to get into the weeds tonight on what we want mowed, but I think, I don't know if you agree or not
It would
on
make,
how I think about it.
it would make sense to put things like that mowing under our facilities, under our facilities line item, our building maintenance. As the public land that we own continues to grow, we should probably try to manage that as a whole.
Because you still, and then we have 64 school streets. And you had mentioned getting the other couple properties, maybe, or brush hog.
Depending on what people want to do with it, or whether they want to just have it grow up, the North Wolcott rec field and, I don't know, Bear Swamp, I don't know if that piece needs any mowing at all in the parking area or not.
If you create a parking area, it's going to have to be mowed.
Well, we'll talk about mowing, I guess, all the areas
Right.
later.
So for this line item, are we suggesting we're gonna back all of the mowing costs out because we're gonna handle that in a different line item?
Okay.
And when you meet with Gordon, you need to tell him to give us a detailed description of, and kind of schedule of what needs to be mowed.
Well, I need that from everybody, basically, except cemetery.
Yeah, we should do an audit of our.
And transfer, yeah. And you can always add to a contract, I think, but you have to put it out to bid. I think you just make an addendum to the contract.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna remove mowing from forest committee.
Website. And are you going to talk about website?
I don't know, again, I don't know what he
Just
wants.
put a
It doesn't-
question mark there, all right?
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense that they have their own website, so.
What do we feel about the infrastructure at 5,000?
I know they want to do more trails.
They're gonna need some money for grants for trails.
I think they just burned up all their grant money, but don't they had a huge endowment, not huge, they had a substantial endowment. Plus they had like a $37,000 fund somewhere. And I don't know, did the land. I guess it doesn't matter.
Northern
Yeah, Northern Rivers Land Trust land, the stuff from the Gulf Road that touches the back of this parcel here. Sure, we want to do something with that.
I did ask him in an email about, since they didn't consider, I went through the plan, and they didn't consider the rescue portion of it. I'd like to see what they may be able to contribute, or if they have ideas for how to get a rescue vehicle to service the forest trails. So if they have grant ideas, or if they would be able to contribute some way to have this extra fund in contributing to the ATV that they need to service these trails.
Is that what other communities do, that have trails?
You have to service rescue. And I don't think Hardwick Rescue can get up there either.
I just wondered like, for, what these other communities do for rescue.
I think Stowe gets called out. In our area, I think Stowe's Mountain Rescue gets called out to a lot of different trails at once.
Yeah, but they're more or less
They're
what
mountain,
what they call high, they're not gonna go out for
no.
someone that's.
I
basically
would
on our
just be
trails.
curious of what other community, that's all, I'm not
Do you know what other?
questioning.
Do you know what
A
other?
lot of communities have trails.
So
Hardwick
Crafts
has trails.
Hardwick has trails.
Mountain trails, big mountain, like, because this is like mountain biking, I can do Craftsbury. I know Craftsbury Outdoor Center, what they do, they kind of have their own rescue.
So what do they use for vehicles?
Well, they have all of their snowmaking and all, they have plenty of vehicles. They're private.
The Cricket Hill Trails
Hardwick.
in Hyde Park.
Elmore has the trails, community trail.
Yeah, on Route 12.
Oh, yeah, out at the end of LaCasper. I forget about those.
So I'll call Hardwick and Elmore and maybe Craftsbury because they have some other trails, but they might be certified.
And they're sort of mountainous.
Mhm.
Okay, the ones on the 12.
I don't know, I still think you said we funded them $1,000 last year for site infrastructure.
Yeah.
I don't know if that feels fair to me. But I feel like there's a lot of grants available and honestly, with the interest that the town forest has, I'd be surprised if they couldn't do a volunteer drive.
I know Hardwick does, just like the fire department, softball.
And I mean, people go out there and just donate labor. It doesn't have to be money.
So is the highway gonna pay for the erosion mitigation projects in the forest? One of them is where you go over to, the town water, waters, you
I'm not following you.
know, where the school street water system is,
Okay.
big culvert that has to be replaced.
Is the highway, is that on our list to replace
Well,
it?
Dylan talked to me about doing it in the spring.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, we were gonna use a.
You're gonna have to brush hog, you have to brush hog to get up there.
This morning, I'm so sorry. Yeah, he has a culvert that he's just gonna reuse. He
Uh-huh.
has one that's already been purchased or he pulled from another place.
There won't be.
He's gonna do it because we asked him to.
No, but in here it has erosion mitigation projects, which would include culverts and
I think
stuff.
he's thinking about this one, it goes up through the
Right.
top. The water bars are all
Right,
gone.
We're just, the board asked him to look at that, to make that road passable to the spring. That's all he's gonna do. He's not doing any of this stuff.
well, I'm just thinking out loud, you know, what kind of erosion projects does the forest need to deal with? Whether Some of them are gonna be covered with the highway, that's all, just thinking aloud.
Do they have a good breakdown of how they broke down, how they got what they need? It should be helpful.
So I would like to, I will call Gordon and pin him down on what that $5,000, if he could tell me what.
I mean, a lot of these erosion projects are basically a lot of people going out with shovels. You don't have to.
You know how everything is,
That
the
close.
same old, does everything, and after a while you get, the same olds get tired. And I'll just bring it back, just leave it there, and I'll bring it back and the board can decide when we have a more detailed explanation for that, all right?
Are you talking to him about website development, or do you want me to still talk to him about that?
Well,
I will.
it's mostly Bradley. He's gonna charge more.
Well, is it,
If Bradley's gonna be charging more to develop their website on our website, or whatever, they're not really developing a website, they're developing a page.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
I mean, it just depends. Are they gonna have an interactive map that we have to pay, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So an interactive map meaning you can download, you can generate in GIS, you can generate a PDF that actually allows you, when you download it, to track where you are on it.
Well, there is an app that some of them use already on their phones for that.
Yeah, that's a trail map, these are trails.
All right, let's move on. It's all right.
First thing I saw was the highway diesel gas heating oil. It was at 35,000. Last year, we had planned to supplement that with 5,000 from the fund balance. Looking at what the fund balance has in it now, when we made that decision, there was 16,000 left in it. As we stand today, there is 8,000 left in it. I believe that the fuel bill or the fuel budget needs to go back from 35, it needs to go to 40. That's where we had been funding before.
Why did it go down that much in a few weeks?
Because the last time we had this meeting, oh wait,
Why did what go down? The fund balance?
Yeah,
I have
the
this thing.
balance is at 8 or 9. Belinda just looked at it today. It's at 8. And at this last meeting that we had when we were looking at this at the highway department, I asked everyone specifically, do I keep this at 40? And everyone said, no, drop it to 35. And Belinda said that we keep it at 35 and we pull from the fund balance if we need it, but we don't put it in there. So we keep the balance of the gas and diesel and heating oil at 35 here, and then we agree to pull from the fund balance if we need it, but we don't move that up to 40 now. Because we don't know if we're gonna need it.
But we've spent 8,900 out of our fund balance. We only have 8,000 left.
Yeah, she says that we have 8,000.
And this is of 12/4. This is the fund balance she emailed us.
mm-hmm. But how much are we spending?
We
I know
were,
this isn't hard to do because
we were on par. I think we were a little bit below on the last one where we should be percentage wise. But they're obviously running a lot harder now. They've spent 13.6 out of their 35. And I asked Belinda tonight when I got here, and the 8,900 that came out of the fuel cost fund balance, she says came specifically from the end of the fiscal year last year's, the highway was over. I guess that doesn't make a great deal of sense, though, because.
No, I got it, I told you about it.
Okay.
It was a warmer year than they, than this year's gonna be.
Well, no, it doesn't. Oh, anyway,
But it's not just. So that fund balance isn't just for the highway.
Right.
Belinda
For the
said
whole
the,
thing.
Belinda said the 89 came from the
Yeah.
highway. What we spent came to supplement the highway. Is what she said tonight.
I ran it by her today and she said, no, definitely it should be at 35 and that we would borrow 5,000. And she felt confident with that, but that I'm just relaying.
That's just funny because when I got here and I was asking her where the 89 went, she said that she thought that we could make it work if it was at 40.
Well, no, she thought that we could make it work if we kept it at 35, but we were funding and pulling 5 into it. And
Okay,
that's what she told me today in specific.
okay.
Because I asked her, I said, my understanding, when you had your note in there, I said, my understanding was that it was to be set at 35 and we would pull from, and then she further explained that, keep the note in there that we have the ability to pull. But that's just what she told me this afternoon. Maybe it changed with your conversation tonight. I don't know.
I had no idea. I still think, given what we're spending, we're at 39%. And I get nervous that we only have 9 or 8 grand left in the fund balance. The fuel costs, and to your point, it goes for the entire town for
Yeah.
and everything. I would feel better with having that at 40. I think historically we have spent 40.
What happens if you don't spend for it?
Then it either gets absorbed into the general fund or somebody from the highway department needs to ask us to donate to the fund balance. Is that correct? Hey, look at me, I'm all right.
Mhm. It helps to offset, all the stuff we go over.
So increase that to 40. What I'm hearing.
That's what I'd like, but I'm 1/5.
Only $5,000. I mean. We might revisit it next meeting, but. You can see what it looks like for the tax rate.
Careful, Gordon, but say that.
Oh,
But be careful, Gordon doesn't hear you say that. Oh, it's only $5,000. When?
5,834.
I got 5,000 for project.
Well, I didn't say I was taking the 5,000. I could follow.
I also had comments, questions, concerns on the equipment fund. Because we've got this new truck coming and I did a little bit of guesswork and worked on the equipment replacement fund and kind of estimated what
Right.
new truck price would be.
Right, yeah.
And obviously I projected this way further than it's useful. I have it spread all the way out to 2034, but what it is showing is that if we average a contribution of like a 150, it says 152,634. So we figure 150,000 a year into the equipment fund. That will cover our current liabilities, including the new truck that's coming now. And it will put us on the right path to start repaying the 550 once we write up whatever that loan term back to us is going to be. And the projection has us replacing truck 18 in 2030, which is really pushing the lifespan of those trucks. We're going to get some trade-in money that may help offset different things, provided the board allows the trade-in money to go towards the equipment fund as opposed to into the general fund.
It generally does.
But I don't think that the 120 that we put in. Where am I? The 120 we put in last year, or even the 130 from now, I don't think is gonna be
No,
enough.
even with the one Kurt did years ago, yeah, this is the time when it's going way up.
Yeah.
Was there any balance in there?
I don't know now. I had it a while ago.
That's one thing you have to start with this, I said. In the beginning, there was balances, but then it got to the point where there were no balances left.
And honestly, thinking out into the future, I would like to see us continue to fund that at 150. I mean, the projection here shows 152 until 27. It drops to 150, 318 in 2028. It jumps to 173 in 2030 when we purchase the new truck 18. It's my belief that it would take a lot of volatility out of the highway budget and would set us up better to be able to afford the new equipment purchases as this new stuff starts to age. If we just planned on funding it at 150, 155. Knowing what I know now about having a savings account is in the equipment fund is set up so that we can have a balance in there. If we continue to fund it like that, at that 150, 155 mark, by the time we're at the life cycle of this new one ton, we would have cash to be able to purchase a new one ton.
That's how it used to be when we started,
Had cash laying around to purchase new wire,
until we went through all these.
started leasing stuff. Yeah, that's what I'd like to see us do. We're gonna need to be able to finalize, do we have an ETA for the new truck? Because knowing what this number is exactly.
The Viking, I called them last week. Dylan talked to them too. They still don't have, body's still not in. They don't know when it's gonna be in. It was supposed to be in last week. Maybe it was coming in with the new shipment. Didn't. So, I mean, they don't know.
Where's it coming from? China?
Hard to tell. Like I said, I estimated the lease payment for the complete outfitted truck to be $49,700.
And I got about 48, so we're real close.
Right.
Actually.
Uh,
Depends on the interest rate.
Right, and we won't be able to set what that number is exactly until we're able to finance the truck, which we can't do until it sits in our garage.
It won't be before mid-January because they don't even have the body yet for last week.
We're gonna miss the printing of the town report. Right, we gotta vote this in before that. So anyway, my thought was funded at the 152, 634.
Actually, the printing is later this year.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to have the first drop, I think, later January. Anyway, so
We just even it out to 150
this year and then
or 152, but
Yeah, we're at the
if
634.
we follow the.
Yeah, I have a feeling that my estimated lease payment is hopefully high. I would hate to think that our total finance cost is that $347,900. 7-year term, so yeah, 150, I think sounds fair.
Well, I also asked Belinda when both of them come together, we have them all to renegotiate that interest rate. It's awful.
I asked her if we could, and she pretty much, the woman at Kansas State, I said, do we have to do both of these or can we consolidate them at a lower rate? She said, no, that other one is set. I don't think that we can refinance it or.
So we pay it off.
Oh.
We
Okay.
borrow money and pay it off and get rid of it.
Yeah.
Even if you get a local, Union Bank usually has some, I don't know. I know we have to lease.
Line, kind of.
Yeah, we'll see.
But
I just asked her to look.
Yeah.
We're not even there yet, but I was unhappy with the 7% interest rate, and I think we can do better.
So the first one's 6.77, the next one coming up would be 5 point something. As of, we didn't lock it in, but as of about a month ago when I called.
Yep.
It's 5.78, I think.
Next line item, I see we've dropped the tire count from 76 to 5. Must be heat
We're
bombs.
spending money.
No, it's going the right way.
Oh,
I just want to make sure, because he's gonna buy greater tires this year, which means he won't need tires.
That's what his logic was.
Okay.
yeah, money increaser.
No, I just want to make sure that he,
He wasn't sure though if he needed to get new tires for the new 1-ton though.
Yeah.
That I don't know
I
yet.
think, he doesn't know yet.
I went over and looked at it, you guys should take a tour of the plow.
Mhm.
It's pretty industrial looking. Very happy with
Yeah.
that.
He didn't get it back.
So equipment repairs, we've separated things out, right? It went from 40,000 in one line item to 30 and 15. We are going to be up to 2 new tandems, a brand new ton truck. The loader is relatively new, the excavator is relatively new, the grader is relatively new. I think that we can level fund our equipment repairs. I think that we need to be able to level fund our equipment repairs. So instead of 30 and 15, it should be 25 and 15, or however you're going to do that. We have a whole lot of new iron, and it needs to stop costing us as much money as it is. We are paying, between our equipment fund and our repairs, we're paying more than our neighbors to keep the trucks rolling.
We did talk though about getting a new body on the tandem, the 2018, keep it going. So I don't know if we just pop that into the equipment fund when we need a new body or.
Yeah, not knowing what the balances are, I think that should be something that we explore when that body needs to be reworked. If we do expect truck 18 to last 2 years longer than its life expectancy, we should probably plan to put a little money in it in the next couple of years.
We just don't know when that's going to be necessary.
Right. I know Dylan just put a new bed chain in it. He seems to be doing those annually, and I don't know why, because they don't generally need that. But that style body, they had issues with side dumps and other weak points. I poked around it tonight when I was in there, but I didn't notice anything egregious with it. I don't think this year that we need to plan for that.
So you said, you wanted to, for equipment repairs, level funded. What is that level funded to what?
So last year we had 40.
Mm-hmm.
This year we're adding a line item for cutting edges.
Mm-hmm.
So if we did 25 in equipment repairs and 15 in cutting edges, or 30 in equipment repairs and 10 in cutting edges, just essentially keep that $40,000 pot.
It's just interesting, in 2024, we were at 45 and it was cut last year to 40. Now I think he's just trying to bring it up to 45 again.
Yeah.
And do we, how many tools do we need to buy? We just bought all new tools in the flood. How many tools do you need? I mean, when you buy a tool, you keep a tool, don't you?
So,
What?
trying to find a way to be diplomatic about.
How many specialty tools do you need for the trucks?
I'm hoping, so I've been in the highway department, or the highway garage, twice in the last, I don't know, 2 months. I did notice that they've got 4 cordless Milwaukee grease guns, which now all of the grease fittings have grease on them. That's wicked cool. I did notice that they bought another toolbox. They've got the big Milwaukee toolbox over there. I don't know what their organizational system is, but I did open a couple of drawers in the toolbox, and I didn't see anything in there that looked like it was of any value. But again, I don't work in the shop, so I don't know where they keep their tools. Maybe
And sometimes he'll throw something under another budget because he needs to, like, he has to do a repair and put it somewhere else because he doesn't have money anywhere else. So
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't think 2,000 is egregious for tools. I mean, yeah, they're well stocked with wrenches and things, but
They need hacksaw blades, grinding wheels,
there's the incidentals. I mean, they got chainsaws, they got all kinds of things. like that.
bars.
Right. I don't actually know. I don't think he spent anything this year.
He does, every time we look at Napa or whatever, he's buying a new tool.
He did buy some, that's right, too. He bought some veterans.
they are doing a lot of their own repairs now. I mean, seriously, they're trying, like, they're gonna install their
No,
own.
maybe I'll show you, well.
If you look under parts and repairs, it's 74% already of that budget of the 40,000.
Equipment and small tools has been 840.
We do absolutely need to get the parts budget under control. I'm not sure how we do that, but we need to get an angle on that and find out why we're putting a bed chain in the truck every year. You know, I realize that's only $2,000, but
So we keep buying new vehicles to prevent all these, parts and repairs. I know this oil and stuff like that, but it never goes down, even with new vehicles.
But if you think, I mean, that's what I thought, but the more I learn about it, you are running sand, gravel, the abrasion of gravel regularly, daily for 6 to 7 months a year. It's going through a truck. And so, I mean, just the abrasion of that is gonna wear down that bed and that chain. I mean,
Right, do we put rubber mats in them?
yeah, they have mats, but still rocks will get under, it's not as simple as I think we're making it.
It's kind of like it sits sandblasted before it gets done.
Yeah.
the chain issue is the chain that Dylan put in his truck this year is absolutely because the chain didn't get exercised all summer long. When I was in there a couple of months ago when the ton truck first died, those chain fittings and none of those things had been used or moved or turned on. And you could tell because they had been rusted and seized shut. And when he outfitted the truck and went to turn it on, it snapped that chain because the hydraulic motor went to spin and the chain.
So we're just using one truck to do all of the road work in the summer?
When we're using the trucks, we're not turning the bed chains on. Bed chains only feed the sander.
Oh, okay.
So that is, I guess I shouldn't say absolutely, that is my theory on why we put a bed chain in truck 18 this year, is because they didn't get exercised. We put a bed chain in truck 16 last year. And it all happens in the fall when we go to outfit the trucks and realize that none of the things work.
So you're saying if they were used or oiled or whatever?
Run a half a bucket of sand through them once a month. Just turn all the stuff on and let that abrasion clean everything up and keep everything moving. Yes, you are sandblasting, you are literally grinding down the steel, but the steel in that channel is a 1/2 inch thick plate. If we were spending some of this repair money on replacing that plating, having Bill Allen come and re-weld it, even though we've got a $5,000 weld sitting on the floor. I would be all for it, but we're not. We're putting suspension blocks in trucks. We're replacing springs, even though they should be under warranty. We're hoses and things, those happen. There's nothing we can do to stop those. We need to create a schedule and a log and a damage report or something to try and get a handle on what's breaking, why it's breaking, and why it costs as much as it does.
I'm pulling together a meeting just to talk about the FEMA projects. And so these are things that can come up in early January.
Correct.
That we can start bringing that together. I still don't know. do you want to hold off on reducing the equipment repairs budget until you have that meeting? And see if it's still feasible?
Well,
or
we're
you
holding
just-
off on everything, kind of. We're just putting suggestions out there and we haven't voted on them or agreed on anything.
The only last comment I would make is that we were averaging around 7,600 a year in ton truck repairs, and we just hand graded the ton truck and bought a new one, so
Yeah,
that should have, in theory, freed up around $7,000. Hopefully that new one won't need anything this year. Bringing us, if we can move on, bringing us down to salt.
do we want me to knock this down to 25 here?
I do. But I
know
got
you-
one fifth, man. It's not like anything's final, right? I mean, leave it as it is now and we'll see what the tax rate does. So salt, Dylan just had the salt truck calibrated. It turns out that it was putting out at its lowest setting around 800 pounds a mile. And the state averages around 200 pounds a mile. So we were using quite a lot more salt. And as far as I can tell, since the inception of that truck. But anyway, it's calibrated now. Jim went to salt school. The roads
The
look
roads,
like,
they're total, I now see what you're saying, and because I drive them twice a day and they're much
more
more.
consistent, yeah,
They're still in better shape than Craftsbury, but it's not because of the overuse of salt.
right.
That's what I'm saying.
So even though the salt is more expensive, right, we went from whatever to
Mhm.
whatever it is now, I still think we can level fund that. I think we can go to 47,000 instead of the 55.
But we used 51,000 last year.
Mhm.
Because we were overusing, but the prices went up. I'm just pointing that out. So maybe 50. Is
There.
that good? To everybody?
Yep.
Culverts, I wanted to cut that, but Michelle, you pointed out that there was some conversations about FEMA and some other things, some underfunding. So we should leave that alone.
We have to do at least 4 to 5 culverts, depending on what is gonna happen with the other one, how big it has to be. But yes, we're only funded up to, like, with the state and everything, we could be funded at 90. It's still unclear to me. But, we're gonna have to come up with some of that money.
So much as I'd like to slash that, but stuck where we're stuck.
There's something about the winter sand I didn't quite understand.
That's just an internal note for me because I'm still, I mean, I'll share that. We have a contract for 38,750 for the next 3 years. Cause our sand just went out to rebid. And if you notice down here in gravel, there's 7,500 of that $10,000 gravel line is used to add stone to the wear sand.
Mhm.
So our contract is for $975 a yard. But if you add in the 7,500 over the 5,000 yards that we put in, it brings our actual sand price to a little over $10 a yard. And that's before we figure in paying someone to drive to Johnson, because we buy the stone in Johnson. Truck it all the way here, and then whatever time and equipment it may take to dump that over the top and mix that all in to get a consistent product. Nothing we can do about it. We have the contract.
Why don't we just bid for what we want?
We tried that and nobody would
Uh-huh.
sit spec it,
No,
and
it's expected.
because that was what I wanted to do last year and I made a giant stink about it.
Mhm.
And we
No
ended
one
up,
said that they could accurately spec it.
nobody wanted to be
Yeah.
held accountable. And still, again, if you drive, I spend maybe more than the average amount of time on back roads around here. The product, again, this year that we're buying is not comparable with the product the surrounding towns get. So we are committed to doing this, adding stone to the sand in order to get it to stay on the roads. I do have, for another night, I do have a conversation about the use of chains and what that does to the roads and why we should maybe look into different alternatives for that on our plow trucks, but that's not a tonight question. That's a later on highway question.
Did you want them to keep winter sand at 39?
Yeah, we have to. Like I said, an internal note for me, just to remind me in 3 years when the contract comes up that I can make my stink again if I'm still here. And the rest of it, I didn't see anything really that seemed out of line with what we had been doing. By my calculations, we came in at, well, things have changed and shifted a little bit, but we were roughly 10 or 15,000 over last year, which I thought was a reasonable increase.
I'm seeing 20 now.
Okay.
Oh, wait. Exactly,
20,000 over last year.
yeah.
As opposed to the 70 from the year before.
So this brush hogging. What are they actually brush hogging?
No, it's mowing and it's, the sides of the roads.
The brush cutting line, is that what you're looking at?
Yeah,
The brush cuttings, we have to rent a tree limb, a special, it's a special
Yeah,
unit.
I know what it is. I wouldn't call it brush cutting. I would.
I mean, that's what I inherited, so I didn't change the line.
Love that.
Tree trimming? I don't know, something like that. Isn't that what you're doing? You're
It's just cutting.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I can change, but I just didn't want to change anything from.
You're trimming the brush.
Just a side note, actually, and this has little to do with budget session, but we bought that $30,000 mulcher when we bought the excavator because that was gonna be what we used. And then we realized that trying to brush cut the sides of the roads with the tracked machine is maybe not that efficient. If the guys are gonna continue to not use that, we should look into seeing if we can sell it while it's still worth
But
something.
we've been using the mulcher. We like mulched up all the trees when we cut them down back here.
I thought the deal was that we couldn't get a person. They were too busy with FEMA flooding grants to use a person to go out and do it. Because one year Joey did it.
Yeah, what a haircut golf road got.
I know.
Yeah.
And every time they touch it, it costs $2,000 because it blows a drum or a hose or it otherwise hand grenades. It's currently sitting, the dilapidated salt shed has one bay that has just a fuel tank in it. And then 6 feet away from a big empty space in the snow, in the driveway, is where our $30,000 brush cutter sits. So when they put the glass in the back, in the bottom of the excavator, if somebody could start that and put that under cover, that would be wicked neat. If we're using it, then there's no reason to sell it. It was my understanding that,
I know we used it on the rail trail when they did the foundation this year and it saved. Like, we were doing our own work, which were part of the grant.
yeah, but like I said, as long as it has a use, it looks sad and lonely sitting there in a snowbank. And while it's still worth something, let's unload it if we're not gonna use it.
So you want to move it in undercover.
I think that it should be placed undercover, yeah.
And anything that's valuable should be undercover.
Well, we can't fit the grader's worth more than the shed.
The chloride, not the chloride, but they pulled this machine out of the bus barn. They could probably put it back in there.
Oh, maybe, yeah. Yeah, that was, I don't see anything. I mean, brush cutting, roadside, whatever mulching. Mowing is the roadside mowing, right? That's the stuff that,
We contract that out. And it's usually 9,000. I called him last year and he's like, oh, I have to charge you more next year. So we use the extra 1,000 to pay for the rental of the brush cutter.
Mhm.
But anyway, yeah, so we kept it at 10 this year.
Okay.
And definitely this year we have to carry over that paving money.
the only other thing actually I'm catching just now, you've got a note here where you added 708 to the outside equipment use to level fund.
Yeah, I did, so I have to remove that.
Remove the,
The 708, I wanted to level fund it from for last year and we were putting it out 10,000 and, you know, we moved stuff around to keep it level funded. I had to put $708 somewhere, so I put it into outside. You know, it's gone.
you can always go under backwards, you know.
I know you can't. I'm not of that mentality because what if next year someone decides they want to insure? I mean, I just don't.
Yeah, the only reason that we were able to
Yes.
be in the position we're in is because we dropped somebody off the insurance, and that's no way to run a budget,
Right.
honestly.
Right, so I.
But that's how it happens.
I know it, that doesn't fill me
I
as a
just
warning.
wanted to protect that.
And actually, I did do a little bit of research. Our tax rate currently, once you equalize for the common level of appraisal, we're at around the upper 40% as compared to statewide for, you know, what it costs to live here. Again, once you equalize for the CLA. So we're not the most expensive, but we could be cheaper.
Are we comparing our total Stowe? I mean, who are we comparing?
I just had a statewide, I just did statewide. Compared to our neighbors, we're right on par, except for Hardwick is right out of the water. They are 50 cents higher than us. For
But their property values.
no, when you equalize for the CLA, right, we're at 67% and they're at number now.
Where are we with Elmore? Elmore's like, I just heard at that last meeting that Elmore, the prices of homes in Elmore are even more than Stowe, some of them.
Yeah. Yeah. I can look it up. I don't know the number off the top of my head. I know that we're at 67% and Hyde Park is at, their CLA is 58%. Their homes are only valued at 58%.
Well, I got some juice.
They have high taxes in that part though.
I heard that, because of their, electric failure, that the, somehow it's related, they're unable. Let me see if I get this straight. That our sheriff and patrol and those budgets are gonna be increased to cover their costs, slightly to cover their costs. So that's how it works.
What? Because of their electricity?
No, but because of their budget. And how it's impacting and maybe an inability to pay, and I've just gotta go back to my notes.
I can see that their utilities went up because they're all going up 20%.
But this is impacting countywide for the sheriffs, the patrol and the dispatch and, what is it, county, the government, the county.
Courthouse.
Thank you. Something like 11% that's gonna be increased. So,
Over and above the draft budget we already got.
I hope not.
Um,
I already have that in here.
It was raining when I came.
Is that the fire?
No, it's a tow truck.
Well, if you put some sand down the dirt roads as they melt, and crack ice.
Yeah, they were predicting flooding of rivers as well on Friday with the rain and the dustins. But not
Not here,
the one, just Mad River and Otter.
yeah.
And then they backed that back just a little bit, but there's still high wind buckets.
Okay, we're still on time.
No, won't pass. Well, I thought it's so important to make such a big deal out of it.
I did want to cover IT just a little bit.
Yeah, because it's like, it's getting unwieldy. but,
we are moving everything.
yeah,
What did increase this year? Was, where is it? One of the listers. Okay, the CAI listers mapping. So in the past, I think there was a miscommunication, but in the past, we were charged a certain amount, the 3,500 for the tax map, but it doesn't include the maintenance. And so the guys this year took in twice some maps to be for maintenance, and then they were charged this extra amount. And so, first of all, I don't think we've ever budgeted for the $2,300. And then they actually got charged twice for that this time. So they're learning as they go, but we had to add the extra 2,300 because we're required to do the maintenance on these maps every year. So that went up the $2,300 that we just didn't have budgeted in prior years. Let's see what else went up.
I thought we were gonna need tax tables because we're going to the new.
This is what Belinda gave me. I don't know.
Well, could you ask her again, because she told me going to this new AP patrol
ADP.
payroll program, we would not need tax tables, because she's not gonna be writing anyone a check.
Maybe this is ADP. Maybe it covers QuickBooks, just QuickBooks itself. Because I don't.
Well, let's find out what it actually means.
I assumed that it was just covering QuickBooks because we don't have QuickBooks anywhere in here. Is it in her budget?
No, I think she wouldn't put it in there, but it wouldn't say tax tables. What, regardless, my understanding is no longer needed tax tables.
Yeah, it does look like we're gonna need a line item for
ADP?
ADP, and to your point, yeah, we should probably find out if QuickBooks has a subscription and put that in here as well.
Well, yes, there's every 2 years you have constantly we're paying for QuickBooks.
We've got
And she told me something, what I think she told me was that the cost of the tax tables would cover this new program. So I think it just needs to be rewritten on what it says.
I have in my notes going with ADP, so yeah, I don't know. And she.
Right. But that thing, tax tables, QuickBooks, find out what it should say.
Okay.
If that's the cost, $1,200 a year. Pretty sure that's what. You told me it would cover. But at least it's gone down, so I'm happy.
There's a lot of things in here that actually have had a decrease.
I think everything else is explanatory in my notes. We dropped Starlink. And we had the discussion, are we moving Wi-Fi altogether? Like, do you want all Wi-Fi moved together under IT? This is what we see here, the public Wi-Fi and facts. I have in my notes, she said to drop it because now we're getting the public Wi-Fi. Well, actually, it doesn't make any sense. The public Wi-Fi, we just had them drop that amount.
Where you drop public Wi-Fi?
No, I mean, the amount, we're not paying for it.
It's free through Fidium.
Yeah, free through Fidium. We're dropping
All places or just the town hall?
just down home. So. Wait, I'm just gonna see where our other,
We would have bandwidth enough to create a public domain here.
There is one now,
Right, we're paying for it.
right?
it's gonna be, about for the town office, so the library's got their own now, and they will have, and they are set up to do both public and private. We will have that same setup here. And that with our phone, if we choose to go with the phone, it would be about 140 and 135 a month total, and then we're dropping Starlink. But we have to pay for a line. I have this in my other notes, hold on.
Doesn't that come down? That comes down later, the agenda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we want to keep an active copper line, which Donna suggested that we keep. Plus we have to keep a fax line, Linda wants to keep one, so.
I mean, saying I suggested we keep it is a little strong. There's some possible benefits. And that, but I'm not sure that Consolidated's gonna continue.
Consolidated told me at the church, called me up and said, we are getting rid of the copper lines.
Yeah.
You have to sign up for Fidium.
Yeah.
What the guy told me, because I talked to him, he said. I said, keep the copper line in addition to switching to via voice over IP, said we can keep the POTS line active. The cost to keep it active is $42 plus tax per month.
Oh, I do remember talking about this. We want them to keep it active while we transition.
Right, that's what
Once we're comfortable with the fiber phone line, we can think about dropping that 42.
I told him that he cannot absolutely not touch our phone line
Correct.
until we make this transition, and then we can start.
Don't even tell them until, just tell them we can't touch it.
That's what yeah.
But
And he
what we do
agreed,
later
we
is
have a
not
lot
his
of-
business.
We do have a lot of internet exchange telling him that he can't touch it, just assuring us that he will not touch it. But I had thought that we wanted to keep it active. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if it needs to be indefinite, but you could maybe budget 42 a month, budget for the year, just in case. If we don't use it for a few months of the year.
So it sounds like there are still some unanswered questions about Wi-Fi costs.
No, because look at, I'm pretty sure, town clerk covers. Telephone and internet, so we have that already with the voice over and fax and phone. 1752 is under town clerk.
Okay.
So the one under IP, this is why, are we gonna move them all together? That's what it. We want to put them all together, because this gets very confusing.
I think it makes sense to.
Well, you can look at it two ways. You can look at it, what's the cost of having that department? And you can look at it as just a cost.
What do you mean having that department? Like in QuickBooks, the IT department?
Oh, just for information, statistical information, what does it cost to have a lister's office? You know, what are their expenses to running that office? You can look at it that way, or you can look at it, just put it all in one lump sum.
But you kind of have been over the last year or two. I think you have been moving it all into the IT. So I don't know where that breakdown now is, Linda, really, because
I think when it was in ye olden day, when each office had its own phone line, sure, yeah, look at the individual cost. But as it stands now, I mean, town
They all
clerks-
still have their own phone lines.
I know, but once we go to that voice over IP thing, we're gonna be paying for one line and then maybe a call service,
One service.
one service.
library and garage are still paying for their own.
So they can carry their own weight and their own line item, I suppose, but it seems unfair to me because we can't do away with the town clerk's department. So
Right.
what's the point in making?
So if
her
it's
carry
just
it for-
one, of course, I would say put it in there.
Well, like
That's how
Nemrick,
I don't understand the concept yet.
like Nemrick moved over, so most of the lister's office's
Yeah.
IT stuff is in under IT.
Mhm.
So this is where I'm just, it gets confusing to me.
Yeah, I can see it both ways, I suppose.
Like it.
Yeah, but as an individually, I didn't realize there was just one. If it's just one, then it doesn't matter. We can't break it out. Who are we gonna bill it to is one.
At the end of the day, this spreadsheet that we work on should look like this. It should come with all of these little codes, it should have all of these things. These things should be identical, these little headings where it says budget, budget, whatever.
Right.
This is how I would like to see the format of our budgets move at some point. Because this is confusing for all of those reasons.
Yeah, that's why public Wi-Fi facts. Facts is lumped in there.
It makes it all have the same title.
Love to change that, but, you know, again, I was given, you know,
You're not even here.
more consistency because you're looking at the years. It gets a little tricky to make that transition, but again, line item 103, which is public Wi-Fi facts, we still need to keep the facts, but the public Wi-Fi goes away because they're all in the same bill. I'll know what that is once they drop that off. And they're dropping it off retroactively as of November 5th. I think we had that as November something.
But this, it's not so much changing the budget as changing this QuickBooks.
Well, I can't change.
No, but I think the board needs to have a conversation with the treasurer. I know you have my phone ready, but.
I whine about every single thing.
But
So we,
you're not gonna delete them, you're gonna just put them in different.
Yes, it's not, so it's not deleting and it's
Oh,
not,
it's not deleting.
it's renaming and
Yeah.
like, for example. Right now, if you look at the front page of the profit and loss, it shows, let's pick line 430 dog licenses. They're under the heading dog department. You just unclick the box that says sub account of dog department and move it to whatever account you want it to be. So,
I'm sure Nikki can figure it out, and, you know, she's, come July 1st, she's gonna have to put in this budget that the voters approve, so it's gonna be a long thing, and that's the time to do it.
and
And you can start working on it in March, because you know what the voters approved and get it ready.
And again, I realize I'm burning daylight here, but when we go to put this in the town report, I would like to see the town report have this format, not this format. So when she enters in the information into QuickBooks and
you would
it's,
have the numbers in the town.
well, so, anywhere you look in here, it's gonna say, and obviously we wouldn't publish our year dates or anything, but we could have last year's budget, this year's budget, proposed new budget, and it would all be in this format, and it would show what's actually coded as opposed to what this is, because I feel like there's a lot of room for transcription errors and line items that don't match exactly. If we worked off of a single format, I feel like we would be able to catch things.
And you do the years, because voters have asked for that comparison.
Well, and you can see that she's entering in the years. So when you generate this report, you can customize the report to go back however far. And as far as internal budgeting,
Can you add what was budgeted for the years?
Yeah. it's in this actual report
It
here.
is.
And that's how it figures the percentage of the budget and all these other things. I think this spreadsheet is a great tool for our first couple of passes through, but when we go to vote on something, I'd love to see it in this format.
We can start to work on that maybe.
None of that answered the question where the IT expense should go.
Want to move the town.
Yes, move it, sorry, Steve.
Okay.
And is that just pulling from the town clerk and dealing with this building, or are we going to move all of our Fidium accounts into the IT department?
Yeah, because the library pays for them out of there and the garage, I mean, we could.
Well, they just have utilities anyway, so it doesn't matter with the library.
Okay,
Um,
so library, no.
because they've always paid for it themselves. The
Yeah.
highways in there. Do the listers have a phone? They have office expense, but I don't think that includes the phone. What other department is there?
It's just this and the fax. There'd be this line, that line, the fax line, and then the garage line.
This town hall doesn't have one, the
Yeah.
Wi-Fi that's there is free.
It's free.
Okay.
So we are moving highway.
Reasonable fence, as long as the phone. Highway, I forgot.
Yeah, I don't know the vendors, I just wanted to get clarity. I don't have a leaning one way or the other. Although the optics of dropping $1,200 off the highway budget does make me feel better.
We dropped so much off the highway department this year. It's unbelievable. We were underfunding it.
Can you believe that I wanted to, me of all people, I wanted to add money to the highway budget? Who am I?
I know. That's what I'm saying.
That's what it is.
I think we should, look at parks and recreation.
Are we, nothing really. I checked, Michael wanted me to check zoning and listers and nothing changed.
Didn't have anything.
But I just wondered, they have that new grant. And remember, we have to pay 50% of it. And we can pay it over 3 years. When do we start having to have money to put towards it?
For Parks and Rec, that grant, I think it was this year.
But we just got the grant and he told us, it's the 50% the town has to pay, but we can pay it over 3 years.
Mhm. And it's only 50% of what they spend, not what they were awarded.
Right. But they were awarded 50,000,
56, I think.
but we need to have some money somewhere for that. Just a thought.
And he planned on doing, we were only matching half of the half grant match. They were gonna do their half in kind, as I recall.
Right, or crowdsourcing or something.
Yeah.
I will talk to you.
He's in the mood today.
So it's 56,000 and we have to, and it. So 28 is half of it. And that's 14. The town would have to come up with over 3 years. It was a lot of money.
You're talking almost 5,000.
That's what he's asking for.
Yeah, he's asking.
5 a year for the next 3 years.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
Yeah, I don't like how it says in there, all that stuff. Why don't you just put grant match?
Under school street site, rec.
Yeah, it confused me.
How about school street rec site grant match?
Yeah, we could even name the grant. I don't know what the code for that is, but.
It's just that
It's a
last
Laura
year in
grant.
25 it was called that. And now, can I change it? Because it's a totally different.
Yeah.
thing.
But it doesn't matter. I mean, we gave him $1,000 last year towards it.
Not towards that, no, we gave them
Towards what?
just to get their equipment and stuff.
So actually,
So you need to add a line.
yeah, you can't change the name. Sorry about
I
that.
mean, I'm confused, totally confused now.
It's gonna have to be another line saying grant match.
And then we won't fund the pickleball, the.
Yeah.
Did he ask for anything?
No, we wanted the 5,000 for the grant match. That was it.
Well, basically, yeah, you'd be getting the site prep.
Have it, like, you pulling it.
200 for equipment. And 500 for consultation and miscellaneous fees. So where you have the word materials, should be equipment.
Make no sense.
So last year. School street rec site rec pickleball, basketball, soccer. We didn't give them any money for that last year. What did we give them for? Did we give them it for? That's what it said, but what did we do?
Wonder if that $1,000 was for knitting and the pickleball rackets. And
They did buy some, yes.
wondering if that's where that $1,000 in painting the lines and.
And what do you think materials means?
It's just what we had last year.
I know, what does it mean? Dirt?
In there.
Maybe
We used,
supplies.
we used the road crew to do any grading and.
Oh, did
aprons or
they have to
whatever.
get nets? They had to get nets and stuff?
They bought new pickleball equipment, I do know that,
What is this grant called? It's the site improvement
I think
grant?
it's a Borac. It's the same grant the Forest Committee got for their trails, Borac.
BORAK.
It's VO. It's Vermont Recreation and something.
Oh,
It comes through the governor's.
grant for site improvement.
Well, not really. They did trails. The town of Danville got it to build their depot train along the rail trail.
I mean, for this particular grant.
This particular grant is for what, extending the pickleball court, paving it over, soccer field, some lights. But you don't have to say what it's for.
Just put BORAC grant,
Yeah, grant.
match, I guess.
Yeah.
Or grant match, whatever.
We did skip over one thing if we're ready to go backwards for a moment. The miscellaneous expense for mowing was 36. The suggested new number is 39, but we just discussed adding a boatload of properties. We probably should raise that 39. Without really knowing exactly what we're gonna be asking for.
Well, he said he could brush hog for $100 an acre. And then he suggested, when I just called him, I said, hey, what do you think? And he's gonna increase from 36 to 3,800 for the next 3-year contract for mowing. And then he suggested brush hogging at 100 acres.
So it's VOREC
the Borat Community Grant Program through the Department of Forest, Parks and Recreation.
Do we want me to put that in or just put grant?
So,
Okay, thanks.
UREC grant.
But then we're not, back to Parks and Rec, we're not funding the school street site prep. That was funded at 1,000 last year, that's a 0 now, correct?
Yes.
If everything else stays the same, it's 60.
and materials is not materials, it's equipment.
Okay. So I can change, just put material / equipment? Or just call it equipment?
That's what he asked for $200 this year.
Yeah, equipment, just change it.
And then miscellaneous.
So I have it at 6610, so $6,610. No, wait, doesn't make sense.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah, because there's a 9 and 10 up there, okay. Now, what were we going to vote for?
Didn't really make a decision, just wanted to do something, wanted to call out that we didn't address mowing. We don't really know what we're asking for, I guess we really don't know how to fund for it, but 39 is obviously not really enough.
That's showing up.
Top of the same page of Parks and it's under miscellaneous expense. Not to reinvent the wheel here, but talking about moving things, mowing and all of these other things should probably go under building maintenance or under,
Oh, it's in the miscellaneous section.
yes, that should probably be moved to building maintenance or something else that makes sense. I'm not saying it's a task for tonight, but
You wanna increase 39 to what?
my thought would be try and cap that around 5,000 and see what we can get mowed for that money.
5,000,
Because we're taking on the forest, we're talking about
yeah,
all of these other places.
right.
So cap it at 5, that's only 1,100 for the forest and everything else. Let's try to cut a deal.
Either trying to cut a deal or we limit the service. I mean, we can always fund it higher than that, but.
How many acres are mowed?
Well, that's just it. I have not done an audit of what we own for town properties, and I have no idea what the board wants to have mowed, aside from the obvious, this. Do other things.
Quite frankly, they mow this every week. I don't see a need for that. I think
No.
it should be every other. I think this service should change a bit. They're out here and when it was in the drought, they were still scalping it, basically. I mean, there was no need to mow it.
So that would hopefully be a reduction in cost. Allowing us to buy more service for less money, I guess, or more acreage. No more brush hogging. Should brush hogging become its own line item now? Now that we have so many properties that get an annual,
That might not be a bad idea.
we got the transfer station. I know the North Wolcott ball field got a brush hog last year. Sounds
It
like
has, well, I know the transfer station is required every year, the landfill.
But they're in their own. She pays for that on the transfer station.
True.
I think.
True, it should,
yeah, I think it does.
yeah.
So. North Wolcott ball field, I think that should see a brush hog every year unless they grow
Yeah,
up.
I do too.
Did you say your friend's doing that though?
The neighbor offered to do it. He wanted to gauge interest from the park, or from the rec department or parks department to see whether or not there was interest in doing softball and whether or not the town was gonna replace the backstops and the benches. Never really got a definitive answer.
Well, Stu said, keep it mowed.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna come up with something basically.
Yeah. I just assumed that until Stu had a more concrete plan, I would continue to mow the walking trail down to the swimming spot. And, you know, I'm happy to brush hog that one if we so chose, but moving forward, we should probably find a plan. But we're gonna have to do an annual brush hog at least up here at the forest. That's what, why does his name escape me?
Gordon?
Yep, that's what Gordon asked for, was at least an annual brush hog here.
And that's a large number of acres.
That, it's mowing right around the parking lot edge, just barely.
Mhm. I would be an advocate for doing an annual knock of the Westover property, if not.
That's gonna be at least 8 acres. What are you gonna do about, like birds, Betty Lou's? Those ought to be knocked down at least once a year, or they're gonna be turning into woods.
So
Betty Lou's looks like it's all set, doesn't it?
that's,
The ball people.
yeah, I would say that that could be folded in, and I mean, as long as that is gonna be used as overflow parking and whatever, that should be mowed more regularly. I wonder about the ones that are on the riverside, like Bernard's. Are we better off to let that grow up? Try and create some root systems to stabilize the bank and save the road, or should we try and keep that knocked down?
What are the neighbors gonna say if you let that grow up?
Maybe the neighbors will mow it and we won't have to think about it.
Can't be any worse than stuff in North Wolcott, right?
Pardon?
Whose property?
I'm thinking about the properties that are between School Street and the river. The ones we lost.
Oh. Berners? It's gonna flood, it's gonna be gone soon.
No, there's no flooding happening around here.
What are you gonna do? Stand up there with a cup, throw it back
Get
in
it
our.
out, but putting it out there.
I mean, Gibbs, I don't see why we didn't just let it grow in, Gibbs.
Yeah.
Betty Lou's, if they're gonna keep it
That one should be mowed.
overflow, that's gonna have to be either
Yeah,
brush hogged or mowed.
that one should be mowed. Oscars can grow up. I don't think there's any reason to maintain.
There's nothing there.
Yeah, you can hit it with a weed whacker if you want
Drain
to.
it out, put it in a hole in the rock.
That's all slow, have to worry about
Right, so same thing with the one in North Wolcott, the Devon, was that the name?
Put that down.
Yeah, yeah, nothing can grow up around all the cars and cars.
We should though, in the spring, go up there and put in a metal marker.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do that up across from you too.
We should have.
Because,
I would be interested where all the markers are over there.
Oh, because, I feel like, you know, people are approaching, that happened to the North Wolcott where the church is, they drilled their well on our property.
Mhm. Yeah, we should actually, depending on how many legal fees we use out of our select board budget this year, maybe we could ask to retain some of those for the next budget year and pay for survey of some
Yeah.
kind of our property to make sure that. 'cause
I
I'm-
was just looking at that, we have like miscellaneous at 22. Well, actually, I've spent some this year, but we spent 500. But
Should we go back to mowing? Did you have it?
no, we don't, we need to put that star next to that to discuss on the 7th, because we need to figure out all the properties,
it. Same with brush
what
hog.
we want, and we haven't even talked about Bear Swamp.
Sounds like the forest has to definitely get a list of what they want, for sure.
What
Is
you,
that,
he wanted 4,000. Whatever that amounted to, he wanted 4,000 for mowing.
Mowing or brush hogging?
Yeah. Oh,
Mowing, whatever.
Yeah, I think he planned on it being both. That was what the request came through at, was for the forest department, was 4,000.
I mean, it's kind of hard to look now, what kind of mowing would be done around the parking area. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know either. I'm just-
And you couldn't really envision it now.
I mean, just brush hogging that big field, you're probably talking 2,000 plus.
Down there by the parking lot, that field or? where?
No,
No, up by
Across
the
the
town
bridge.
well.
Oh, at 64?
No, part of the forest way up.
Way up
Oh.
across
by
the
the town
bridge.
lines. Yeah, East Elmore Road.
Hopefully there are some generous forest users with tractors.
It'd be nice to see them hay it.
Whatever.
Yeah, I wonder if we could.
No, they're not gonna cut it until the turtles and the stuff are gone. They're not gonna hit it. I guarantee it.
That's August first.
I don't know. No, late.
Nesting birds, you have the second set of nesting birds in August as well. So the state says, August 1st, but you actually are not considering the second.
I think Dave Bolton went up at the end of October.
But you gotta worry about
This year.
snipes, woodcock, all those. They're a late bird for,
We don't do it till end of September usually at our property.
In North Wolcott Road, that ball field was done. I feel like it was done early. Date was, but I remember it was soon.
Yeah, I don't know. I actually have to contact them because it's part of the contract, but I don't know that it's actually identified by date.
Yeah.
So
So mowing gets a star. Where does that leave us?
down to, we can't do payroll taxes until you guys identify salaries. If you want to do the,
Yeah, I think that's something we should make a motion on one way or the other tonight so that they can finish up the budget.
and we still have not received anything from the sheriff patrol and dispatch budgets.
I think they're still working on those.
But we're supposed to have another meeting. Did you meet with them? I did.
I met with.
After we had our original meeting on the,
He said they're still trying to cut it down, but he said it's gonna be tough. They were still around 6. Cause we said 4 and 4.5.
I said 3.5.
His biggest problem is the retirement fund.
So you're gonna take the telephone and internet out of the town clerk's budget.
Yeah, putting it in IT.
Back up a moment, and actually maybe you answered this. Did Tom say anything about a different number for planning and zoning? He's still happy with that 11, but
Needs to keep it. I asked him again today. He's handing me his same budget.
he's gonna be able to find an assistant that does whatever he needs for that, in that number.
We might have already
I
found.
think we already
Oh,
have one.
excellent.
That's coming up, yeah.
Never mind.
Our next discussion. We can bring it up now if you wish.
Right? Fine, I just wanted to make sure the number was right.
Oh, you did talk about WAC. Did you guys want to keep WAC as is? We're funded, but if you.
Where is it?
It's Wolcott Arts
I
Collaborative.
know, but is it in here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
1,200 we asked for it.
Where is it?
After town building and maintenance fund.
Arts.
Skipped a few pages.
Oh, I have that there, yes.
Town hall, we didn't want to do anything with town hall. We're happy with that. Town office buildings, I see our fuel bill going 2,500 to 4,000. Curious about why that was.
Oh, we dropped that back down, sorry.
Okay, I may have, because this is the one that I marked up, so I may.
I don't know if I gave you the new one. Where are we, town office?
Is our town building maintenance fund adequate? I'm not feeling like we are.
Oh, sorry, so town office, we dropped fuel back down to 25. I talked to Belinda about it.
Okay.
So the only thing that went up were supplies. Supplies went up because she has to fund like everybody, she was saying.
Yeah.
So Linda, back to your point, I feel like the maintenance fund is limiting, I mean, it is allowing to get projects done because we're only putting out for contract labor, basically. We're not paying a salary. But we kind of have to prioritize, and this is what we have to do with every department, prioritize our projects. So I do know that we need to build something over the town hall. Propane tanks, the little thing that protects them, that's not happening this year. Because, we're trying to get the snow guard on the library roof. So there's a lot of things that have to happen that are maybe 2 to 3 years out, just because if we have $15,000 and that is.
It used to be at 20. It used to be at 20.
It was 10 and 10, right? 10 for the
Yeah,
worker and 10 for.
Yeah, but it's costing us 20.
But I know. but I feel like important projects are being put on the back burner and then it costs more. It's my feeling that.
Well, and we have some things that if push came to shove, we really need to get on, like ADA access to the
Yeah.
town hall and to the library. I mean, we're not gonna be able to push those
Right.
off.
Wait, what line item? I'm sorry, where are we? Well,
Building maintenance fund, it's at 15. I'd rather see it at 20.
Yeah, I could see it.
I would, that would be very nice.
When we come back, if it
It was at 20.
tax rate it has been at 20.
When we dropped the actual the
Yeah.
employee, we dropped it to 15.
Sounds like we'd use the 20 just on stuff we need done anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if we could drop it after some of these bigger things happen,
Right.
but we've got a lot on the horizon.
I agree. Okay, so then back to the Wolcott Arts Collaborative. We put in for 1,200. It's a new appropriation. Actually 1,500. Again, the library is giving us 4,000 a year. We're asking the bands to pretty much play for donations. I don't know how long that will go on. But we have been successful in booking something, a band every month and events every month. But if the library continues to fund us, we're making it work. If this money comes to a problem, I mean.
I think the community engagement you guys have seen I think it's worth the investment.
It's pretty popular.
Well, it gets people out of the house and.
And we could do more with the art.
So it's a nice diversity. I mean, I went to both the concerts and they had different groups of people there. I mean,
Very young in the second group. Not so
Yeah.
much older.
but in the other one, people from the other side of town. Was pleased.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's important.
Okay, good.
I think you're gonna see more in town hall rents for income though. It's been really busy.
I'm struggling. I'm calling Warrens all the time to get them out there because we're dropping on our propane.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. It's in the income.
No, yes, okay, yeah.
For town hall. I mean. December was booked.
So November.
You might want to ask Belinda to relook at that. For town hall income for receipts.
Instead of 3,000.
Yeah,
Town hall rent is 3,000.
1,300 so far, maybe.
I think she projected out, yeah.
Do we think that the rental rate is adequate? I mean, if we're anticipating 3,000 in, and I think our funding for that was 6,000. Yeah, we're gonna fund that at 6,150.
Well, WAC doesn't pay for it. I mean, they're like, it doesn't pay for it, and I don't think you're gonna get much more out of ballet Wolcott.
Right.
And often, aren't they getting a lot of like, Justice for Dogs did they pay for it?
Yeah, Justice for Dogs, doesn't, I think they pay. The only other one that doesn't pay is funerals for people who live in Wolcott, I don't charge.
And there were several.
Well, it's not like the transfer station. It doesn't have to be a break-even enterprise. I just didn't know. I don't know what the cost
The
is.
ballet pays $350 a month, 11 months.
10 at least.
Wow, that's 3,500.
I don't know, where are we at now?
Well, she has 12, but I don't know.
Could be being
Maybe she just doesn't collect it from Josh.
I don't know, but I know the ballet will pay 3,500, and then we have tons of other people using it at $60. At least $120 a month, if not more, from outside people.
Consistently, we get 120.
I'm guessing that. I mean, some months less, but some weeks, months more.
Well, I just made notes, I'll have her look at it.
Of course, more in the winter. I mean, summer people use their backyard, but.
With all the new totals that we've discussed. Any idea where we stand, what the new general and highway numbers are?
Since I've been adding everything's screwed up on my total, my son's just.
Do you know why, on the last page, why? Like last year, we had reappraisal funds.
I was just looking at that, why it's at 0 now.
um,
We bought down some cost by using money out of the reappraisal fund.
You can't. You cannot use that money. It's, the state gives it to you for grand list, and we can't take it unless we use it towards the reappraisal.
Which is where it went.
But we haven't done a reappraisal.
Weren't there some costs associated with that earlier on? We had something to do with the contract. I thought.
Yeah, we paid a couple months, but then we stopped paying because they were supposed to start in July, but then they put us off for a year. They charged us for 1 month, and I told Belinda no more. They're not doing it. We're not paying them the monthly fee. So I don't know. We need to look at that.
I'll ask her why this number is at 0.
Well, and also think about it. Did we take the money? So it's income that we got. It's weird. I'd like to know where that money came from. As income. Did we take it out of the Listers reappraisal fund?
We need to see the balance sheet.
Yeah, we need, I need an explanation on that to understand that better.
Are you noting that to get, do you want me to have a call?
I can, I guess. Just know whether we need to save that come June, or, no, it's income. That's what's confusing me, why it's there.
Why it's not there or why it was there?
Why it's income. It's, income is different than expense.
Right, and
So we anticipated that income.
of 60, we had 67 last year, but there was nothing the prior year and there's nothing this year. So that's your question, right?
No,
Oh.
I wanna know where that income, where that money came from.
What money? Because it's a zero this year.
Well, we're in 2025.
So you're referencing where the 6,700
Yeah.
came from? Okay.
Yeah, I'll ask her.
So the zero for this year as income seems valid, correct?
Well, when she tells me where that money came from for this year, I'll maybe can figure out 26.
Yeah, like I said, my memory of the budget session last year was we got the contract for the
We did.
reappraisal and we wanted to try and buy that down with the reappraisal fund. And so we decided that we would cut that into the 3 years. So that's a third of what that fund is. Why it went to where it went, how it ended up there, I don't know.
Because there's quite a reduction in income, because remember, you take your budget minus your income, and that's your rate, and so right now, it's $60,000 less in income, so I'd like to look at that a little better.
We don't have designated funds or fund balance total.
Well, we probably aren't gonna either. I don't think with these floodings, I think it's catching up with us for fund balance totals. I don't know where these designated funds have come out of. ARPA money? I don't have any of those either.
Don't let the state's behind paying everyone.
All right. Anyone else have any comments on stuff we need to look at? So I guess we'll move on to your report.
We wanted, the motions for the salaries.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, so you know how to move forward. So the union is getting 3.5. For pleasure for employee raises.
This is not union.
Never determined whether we have.
Yeah, therein lies the question, how many employees are left?
And last year, the union employees got 3.5 too, but we only gave the unemployed 3.
That's kind of what, in the budget that we predicted, that we projected this year.
Mhm. Are employees happy with that? Do they complain about?
Well, given that it's just the 3, I mean, I think we're fine.
Well, it's the listers, the zoning, the janitors, the transfer station.
I haven't heard anyone complain about a 3%. I haven't polled.
I'll make a motion to give town employees, non-union town employees. 3% cost of living raise or something.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried.
And Parity seconded. I heard some whispers.
I think we both did. You can give it to.
Billings. Want me to move on to my report? I'm gonna do a really abridged version. So FEMA, for the 2024 flood, just an update. I've been meeting weekly now with FEMA, and the VEM staff, Vermont Emergency Management. I'm gonna be filing extensions for 3 projects, possibly the work that was completed, because I don't know where it is as far as payment. But I have to get these projects extended by January 20th, because they expire on February 20th. Chris Brunel, remember I was saying that FEMA came back and said, hey, for all of our small culverts, we want prefab skewed wing walls and everything. And so I really questioned that. And so we reached out to Chris Brunel, and he said that he didn't think that he thought that the rock head walls would work in place of the skewed prefab and set in place concrete head walls or wing walls. And he's still looking at that, but hopefully he's going to make those changes, and then FEMA will just do a cost adjustment or an amendment and probably give us less money. Cost us far less in the long run, because we can do those ourselves. We couldn't do ourselves. We don't have the equipment to install these prefabs. As I said earlier, I'm going to be calling a meeting with Michael and with Dylan and maybe Lucian and maybe Linda in early January, so that we can go over the FEMA work, so that we know that we can get it done in early summer, spring and early summer, because before we commit to this, I just want to make sure we're all on the same plan.
Usually Kim will give you the deadline.
We talked about it, and she said that they'll give us an extension to, like, first 2 months in summer. And if we need to extend that, as long as they're seeing progress, she can give us another extension. So they give us little increments of extensions. As far as getting that rescue ATV, so the fire department, the ATV, Linda, last time you had requested the fire department equipment fund balance. That is currently at 23,600 in their account, and they're saving that for their engine number 2, their next engine. They said that they save $1,850 from each appropriation check, and they put that into this account. But that this account isn't for purchasing a new ATV. So I'm still looking for grants. I think I'm going to
You need to remember they're a separate entity too.
Yes, yeah. I am going to be applying in early January, I think, for the Firehouse Subs grant. I think we qualify. It is a national. I don't know if we're going to get it, but I'm gonna try. Catherine Todd runs. She's the forest fire protection manager. I think that's what it is, for the Vermont Department of Forestry, Parks and Recreation. And they're currently waiting approval from the Forest Service to participate in the FFP program, and they hope to support the towns in the near future, which means that then they reach out to the Department of Defense and they get used equipment. And then they can appropriate it to the towns. So if that's a
Mhm.
possibility, I'm still working on that. I scheduled Marcel Gould or Gould Electric. I never did reached out to Arthur multiple times to get a bid for the rewiring of the town hall that needed to be done. Nothing was submitted, so I'm gonna go with the $750 bid that Gould put in. So I've scheduled that for January 14th. We did the RFQ for the building maintenance. We had 2 submissions. I had a man walk in today and he said, is it too late? Since this is an RFQ, I told him he could get it in by next Monday and we would extend that because it's just a request for qualifications. I have those qualifications here. I don't think we really need to approve anything. I did look at all of their qualifications and the pay rates, and it all seems to me up and on the up and up. And I did receive W-2 or W-9s and COIs from both companies, and I would get the same from this third. Sam Hill is moving out of Wolcott. He's a lister. So Tom actually talked to Sam about continuing to work as a zoning and lister assistant, and note that he was hired as an assistant prior to being promoted or elected as a lister. And Sam is interested. Belinda said that Sam will need to submit a letter of resignation issued for March 1st. And then the select board can then appoint a lister at until the next town meeting election, which would be in the year 2027. So that's the process that we're gonna be kind of going forward. So we'll start to advertise. She already has started to advertise for a new lister to fill that place. But
She started advertising before we got a resignation.
she advertised on the website. There is a listing for 2 listers.
For who?
I don't know. I don't know who this, she made a mistake on the second one because Tracy's is not up until 27. So it would be an advertising for a 2-year term. That's what she told me today. So we could get a letter of resignation earlier if we want to start advertising. No. So we don't want to start advertising.
Say, I don't see anything on the website.
Yeah, she had advertised new positions, new elected positions or something. Look at that. She showed me today that she had advertised.
Oh, there it is. Yep.
Because we want someone to be appointed who doesn't want a salary. Because we can't pay for an assistant and a lister.
I talked to Nikki and she's gonna consider it. She might be interested. She wanted to talk to the listers first to see really what kind of commitment that would be time-wise. So we have some moving parts to at least do a temporary appointment, a 1 year, whatever it works out to be. But you had asked me to confer with Belinda and see what she had said, and that's what she had already done. She had already taken that step.
You can undo it, please.
Okay.
Funny how some things get done and some things don't.
So you don't want that to happen until March 1st or later?
Until we receive a resignation, just like the library.
She was gonna require the resignation by March 1st. Is that okay?
She's not in charge of hiring people. We are. We will take care of it.
Okay. But
Sorry, I'm not mad at you.
No, but this is going against what, I'm just trying to figure out what you want, because this is a contradictory way, because you told me to have Belinda sort this out.
I asked her how it would what I wanted her to know was how she was gonna be on the warning. Because she will do the warning.
There will be no warning because you can't warn it if it's not,
Right.
if there's.
All right, let's not argue now. It's 9 o'clock and I'm ready to go home, but, no, I don't want her to be doing anything at this point.
So no advertising.
No,
And
no,
no getting resignation.
no. I'm thinking of the taxpayers here. If we have someone who comes in and runs, then we're gonna have to pay. We're gonna have to increase the listers. Budget. And there isn't enough work, and we already have a trained employee that we'll have to retrain someone else.
Yeah, that was.
So it really is. In the best interest of the taxpayers, I think, at this point,
For the select board to make an appointment.
for someone who doesn't want a salary.
Right.
Town office fax line. So the fax line works off of the voice operated, internet, voice over internet. This is a lot of mumbo jumbo anyway. They do that by using an analog terminal adapter, ATA, that receives an analog line and converts it to digital, which is internet. And that's going to be $30 a month. Just wanted to let you know that we have to do that to run our fax machine.
Is there not? Because you're taking an internet line, turning it into an analog line, and then turning it back into an internet line.
That's what you told me they do.
Okay, never mind. I didn't know if there was.
I didn't interpret that kind of terminology, believe me.
I didn't know if there was an online option that runs fax machines for, but I mean, $30 a month, I don't know that you're gonna get it less for that.
Yeah.
Never mind.
So how often do we use a fax machine?
You have to have it for like doctors, like hospitals to fax us when we get animal bites and things like
Uh-huh.
that. They only do faxes, so we have to keep it for that. And we probably get 5 of those, 6 of those a year. We get a fair number of animal bites.
I think there are a lot of insurance things that still take
Mhm.
fax too.
We get a lot of stupid faxes too. Just come through. Like menu.
$350 for 5 bites a year.
I mean, I don't know, the hospital will not go any other way, so we have to bite the bullet on that one.
Antique
We could
technology.
drive there and pick it up cheaper.
I don't think I'm gonna use it.
I wonder what the mileage rate.
Take it up. Wolcott Arts Collaborative, we wanted to know if we could get permission to hang, if we created a banner, much like the Valley Wolcott banner is there. Nobody knows that that's the town hall anymore. It's now just Valley Wolcott. Even on Google, you can't get the town hall address, seriously.
Mhm.
So, just wanted to know if we could hang a banner either over Valley Wolcott when we're having an event or on the other side that says this is, the Wolcott Arts Collaborative, just for when we have our events. And we would
Yeah,
run,
I mean,
we would run the logo. Bradley's working on a nice logo that has the town emblem thing, but it's got like the bridge and the arts collaborative underneath.
sure, it's fine with me.
Yeah.
The rest of the board.
Yeah, you guys are using the space running an event. You should have some signage so people know where to go.
We borrowed Belinda's little tray thing and put it out last time. It helped a lot, but so yes, board says yes. I mean. We're trying to file, this is, I don't understand what's going on, but we're trying to file, with the IRS for clean energy tax credits for the solar project. It requires that we would file a 990-T form at the end of the fiscal year. Belinda and I have been trying to file since last week for this pre-registration. But we are going to put our fiscal year. This project is falling within our fiscal year, which is you have the opportunity to set your fiscal year because we've never established that yet. And so we're gonna set it in June. Anyway, we're still trying to get this filed. It never seems to allow us to submit it, and we can't figure out why. We're gonna try again tomorrow. If we are successful and if the IRS approves it, we'll be getting approximately 16,000 back. Because they fund up to a third of the project. And if we do get that money back, then we can use it to apply for 3 heat pumps, one in the bathroom, one in the kitchen, and one in here. Heat pumps, I think they're called, but they're heating and cooling.
Yeah.
And finally, 277 Flatiron Road. We sent, I developed a letter, I wrote up a letter last week on December 10th, and Mike Green delivered it. The guy never answers his door. We're finding out more today through a dog issue and a sheriff issue that the guy's there, but he sleeps in the daytime and he works outside at night on chainsawing. Anyway, today there was a volunteer who offered to haul off those 2 vehicles for free for this guy, because he has to have 2 of those 8 vehicles removed by the end of the month, by December 31st. I drafted a letter to give to the tenant. We have his name now also, that would issue the town permission, or this person permission to remove the vehicles. I have the letter here. I sent the letter to the Judicial Bureau to see if this might work to cover the town, because I don't feel like we can just have a volunteer haul off 2 pieces of 2 prior registered vehicles without having a permission form that said, here are the prior license plate and VIN numbers. And the description, the make and model, the year of the car.
I feel like a lot of these ordinances have to go to the environmental court and get a court order before we can act.
Pardon?
I feel like a lot of these zoning and bylaw violations have to go through environmental court and get a court order before we
Well, the
can.
guy said he would do it. He would haul them off.
Yeah.
So I ran this by VLCT.
But did the owner say he was
Yeah.
Yeah, he said he was
the
gonna,
owner of the vehicles?
yes, he is the resident there. And he said that he agreed before we started issuing violations. We've gone through the proper steps that I can determine. We've issued the multiple letters. We had one delivered by the sheriff. And what remains is, he said that he would have 2 of the 8 removed at the end of the month. The rest are either in probate or being driven, now registered. So I came up with this form to send him, to have him sign. And I'm trying to get VLCT or somebody to approve this, but I guess my question is, we have $2,500 in the legal fund. I can't take this to Paolo because he no longer does municipal law. He gave us the name of Brian Moynihan in Burlington. Is this something that the board wants me to have approved? I feel like I wouldn't touch this and have a volunteer move these items until we are covered.
Yeah, and there's gonna need to be proof of ownership and titles, depending on the age of the cars. There's a lot more legwork to that.
Yeah.
You need a title. If you can't get rid of them, you have a title.
And even if you go to scrap them, you gotta prove, now that they've changed the title law, you've got to prove chain of ownership through registration.
Okay,
Uh,
but he doesn't have to sign the titles over to us, or does he?
He would have to sign them to whoever takes ownership of them, or the volunteer is gonna have to go through the abandoned vehicle process.
The what? Abandoned vehicle?
There's an abandoned vehicle process that tow companies will go through. I'm not a lawyer. I would just say that somewhere in this form that you presented, we should get proof of ownership. He needs to provide proof of ownership before we have somebody come in and just remove their cars.
If we do that and it's taking longer than December 30th, 31st date, do we give him another? He's going through the process.
As long as he's making progress and going through the steps, you know. If he stops all communication and doesn't want to play games anymore, then that's a different question, but. Because he,
Provide proof of ownership and then he would have to sign that title over.
to wherever the car is going.
Whoever's taking it.
Right. And if he can't prove the chain of ownership, then it would be my feeling that he should go through the abandoned vehicle process because it is lengthy. I think you've got to wait like 6 months
Okay.
in order to get the state to issue.
And so I don't know if you say I tested these vehicles belong to me, do they belong to him or is
I
my?
didn't know all this. I would have to draft that again.
And I would take volunteer out. I would just have, I request the town of Wolcott to arrange to remove the following two.
Okay.
vehicles.
You have a pen there? Sorry, thanks.
Yeah, Vermont changed the title law.
Yeah, I remember reading that somewhere. I'm not familiar with it, but yeah.
Good.
Like 90 days before, because if it's just sat there, they could apply for a title or something.
You can apply for it, but it still takes like 6 months to get. In the abandoned vehicle title.
You can't just take a car to the junkyard anymore.
Nope. It used to be anything over 15 years, you just had to have like a registration form to prove that you owned it. If I was 15 or older. They removed that exemption and now all the way back, like the 73 Camaro that's been in my family since 1990. When I go to register that in the spring, I'm going to have to pay for the lost title and have them do the ownership records all the way back to 1973 because they did away with.
Yeah, they did away with it. Anything that was 16 years or older.
And because the title for that car doesn't exist, I have to pay the state to go through the chain of ownership. It was a lot of oversight. They didn't think about that. Anyway, just somehow chain of ownership. Was that your question? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to sidebar you here.
No, I just wanted to know if we could seek legal, but this, we don't need to now, I think. It's too much safe. And then I've done, I think we've already, select board review, we've done the A and B. We just have to cover this town and as a municipality with the unions, and town policy, personnel policy. I think really what we're looking for, from my understanding, on number C or letter C, is that can we get, does the select board agree that we can possibly get approval to use our legal budget to work with a lawyer down the road, maybe in April or May, to handle a couple of our questions that we have about our liability as a town? Am I phrasing this correct? It's kind of late and I just don't even know what I said.
Yeah, I think so. My understanding is that I have some questions about the structure of the union and how things are working currently. I've done a little bit of research, but I'm not a legal scholar. So I think the question is there authorization to reach out to a lawyer should the need arise as we pursue these questions? Did I do a good job there?
Yeah.
That's my feeling for that.
Right, because I feel like darts are being thrown at us or bombs that blow up rather than communication. I'm not sure you know, what the stewardship's role is. I would have thought that was communicating with the town. Liaison between the town and the union, but
It's only the liaison between the employees and the union, but not the other way.
well, I'm tired of being bombed. That's what I feel like, that, you know, every time you sneeze and you sneeze wrong, you know, get called on the carpet. Just try to find out what our rights are.
Unfortunately, unions as a structure, they, in order for a union to be useful, they have to sow that distrust. They have to create that division so that they can step in and fix that division.
That would be against them.
Yeah.
And currently, so we, as I believe, when I talked to Belinda maybe a couple days ago, we had not used any of the legal budget.
We have to earmark any of that for the right of way researches and things,
No, it's all covered under the grant.
something else will come.
And the trust will be paying for the first lease, you know, paying for that. Legal fees for that. When it gets into the particulars between the, you know, this town using spaces in the building, then I think the town will have to, but we're not there yet.
Probably won't make this fiscal year.
Not this one, but maybe next.
Yeah.
I guess, do we need a motion or do we need just an author, like a verbal authorization?
Does anyone have a problem with, using legal fees to answer, get to some of the questions? So the board agrees that, within reason to, with expertise in, municipal and union law. You're all set with that?
Yeah.
See, D is just some updates. First of all, Michael, seeing as you worked on the solar project, would you mind writing a paragraph or something for the select board report?
Sure.
Let's do January. When's it due? The report, select board report,
Signatures are due January 26th.
but I think she said like.
I
January
said,
3rd.
okay, yeah, January 3rd.
But that's for stragglers.
I work well under
We have
pressure.
to build that report, and so Michael's gonna write the MERP report.
Yeah, he's gonna give it to me though, and I'm gonna incorporate it in. Because I didn't have any part in that, I'm not sure when it went on. Michelle and I did meet with, Champlain Oil about the parking lot, he's still anxious to sell. I talked about the fact that, because, you know, all the money we're gonna have to pay for the brownfields to fix it, that, you know, keeping the price down. So we agreed that we would first try to reach out, both Champlain Oil and myself would try to reach out and find some grant funding for completing the project, for doing that. So then we could further discuss the purchase price. So we did reach out to the company Cass, Jeremy, that
Yeah, we still here.
Yeah, we're still here, Richard.
No,
Yes,
sorry.
that wrote the project and, he is gonna look for some funding for us. I haven't heard back on that. And, the Wolcott Community Trust really wanted to thank you very much for agreeing to the lease. It's, the state has accepted that, so it's gonna save us over $12,000 in the project for, it was a requirement. We had to have
Ah,
lead testing and hazardous asbestos. Phase one, so
Jesus.
Is that a 90-year lease? I'm sorry.
99. They just needed to see the minutes and they accepted us. There was a change in, on the, state did make a change to the brownfields report for the parking lot. I think it's been has it been uploaded to our, I forget. They just made a change to some things in that report. Now it's in the 30-day window for public comment. I'll see that it gets on our website.
Already did.
The new one.
I thought it was all in the same day, kind of, so I pulled the most recent one during that chain.
That's all I have.
Ah,
Do we still need to go into executive session?
I just need a vote.
All right, so, we'll need a motion to go into executive session for a personnel issue.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that.
Okay, at 9:18.
Thank you.
Okay.
So how are we gonna work this with Richard? Can we unrecord it and leave him on, Dolan?
Can we leave Richard?
Yeah.
What?
Can we like stop recording?
Oh, yeah, just keep them, sure.
Yeah, just go ahead.
Did you adjourn?
No,
Now we're going into executive session.
Okay.
you just have to stop recording.